Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto, Son Ranto, Son Ranto and the lovable loser. Son Ranto, Son Ranto, Son Ranto and the lovable losers. Son Ranto.
He's it's such a shame that he disappears in the middle of it because for whatever reason these days, and it did happen on the recording of our podcast for the podcast listeners, your voice goes away because the entire system, this entire StreamYard system is like, we don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. We're cutting it out, and it's like, so.
It's just quietly, you're just watching me quietly turn red.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Let me try this.
I don't know. It's still annoying, but I just changed your sound settings, so maybe it was automatically adjusting you. So it was saying, boo, that's too loud for my little computer AI ears. Bill Suga says, Cotton's mic says, oh, hell's no. Hi, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. We're here to bring you all the exciting winter meetings news. Ooh, it was
so much excitement.
Riveting. That's Infield Fly Girl. We just heard. Hi, IFG. How are you?
I'm good. I
drinking Pepsi, huh?
I had some lovely beers picked out for, whether we signed Shohei or if we didn't sign Shohei. And the way that these winter meetings have gone, I showed up today with some caffeine-free diet Pepsi because it's literally nothing. That's what I've
exactly.
got. I'm gonna mix it with some grapefruit soju because I hate myself.
Only if it was caffeine-free diet Crystal Pepsi would you really have.
It's giving me that slight brown tint,
Well, I'm rocking the Leinenkugels today. Leinenkugels Red Lager.
I used to drink that in college. It's a kind of a collegey beer.
I like kind of a collegey beer. I like I like red ales, but then I had this and I'm like, actually, I like red lagers better than ales. You don't find red lagers very often. So I'm glad that Liney's somehow brought this back if it wasn't always here and I just couldn't find it.
Well, they just always change the can and tell you it's something new. I've got my yerba mate tea here, drinking it out of my Cubsy mug here, and I'm excited about tonight, even though nothing happened with the winter meetings and stuff. But
I'm glad to see Jeff Berta here in the comments is already like, I still believe you'll need the Otani to the Cubs beers, and honestly, Jeff, like your lips to the ears of any god, I'm still in good favor with.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in. I mean, basically all the bloggers and writers this week have just been writing stories that say Cubs still in on Otani. Cubs seem to be pivoting from Otani. Wait, they're still in on Otani. Wait, Bob Nightingale's an idiot. Oh, wait, Bob Nightingale might be onto something. Oh, wait, I mean, it's just like the churn.
It's exhausting
to the ads and we'd all surf it. I just kind of kept my cool because you just didn't. At some point, you kind of feel like the entire market was frozen because of Otani, and so just nothing could happen. And because it's such a big deal that one team is going to spend like a shit ton of money, and that's going to change what else they can do. If the Cubs get Otani, they're not going to get it. But we'll talk about it in a second. I want to say that the Son Ranto is brought to you by the Bleacher Bunch Productions on the Fans First Network and all the great shows we have, including Cup of Cubby Blue and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, which sponsors this very show. If you would, go leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcatcher you listen to the Son Ranto show on, the Bleacher Bunch, any of our shows. Talk about us all. throw us love, 5 stars, get it going, getting it in other people's feeds. The show's
Or
also,
if you hate us, say all the bad things, but still give us 5 stars.
but
5
say
stars and then bitch.
But say it all about a Cardinals podcast. All the bad things about us, write it on their podcast review. Viva Bert Alberto's or something like that. This show is also brought to you by our 110 Patreon supporters and our super duper ranters at Blake Beard's Tickets for an amazing pair of tickets down the third baseline, and Lawrence at Rogue Wave Creative for all your branding and graphic design needs. And I already mentioned the Cubs PS Plus podcast. I do want to say, Bernie Barron asked me, how do I gift somebody a Patreon membership to the Sun Ranto Patreon campaign at sunranto.com/Patreon? And the answer is, you cannot. You cannot just send them a Patreon membership for a year. But what you could do is, let's say you want to subscribe them up at $5 a month or something like that. You could just give them $60 and say, this is for that. And then send them the link. Say, I want you to be a part of the Patreon. We're over on the Discord hanging out. We get the show early ad free. We get special perks like the Ranter calendar and all the Cubs music and stuff. So, if you want to do it, you can just do it that way.
I thought it was something like, now granted, you can't like actually give a gift, but it's kind of like when you sign up your friends' email addresses for all the dumb shit at the fair. You're going around, they want an email address, and so you just put your friend's email address in there. That's all you do. You just sign them up. You put their email address in, you pay for it, and then you tell them, oh, this is your password.
Yeah, here's your password.
Here's
Rubber
your password.
ducky.
I signed you up for this thing.
Gmail email addresses are free. Just do my friend's name, sunrantopatreon at gmail.com, and just give them the login information. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just, like I say, along with the Sunranto show, sign them up for a bunch of spam.
Yeah. If for the people you don't like that much, actually, they might be giving the Sunranto show to their enemies, just because we're that kind of show. So hashtag Chance in the chat. You can win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and or doom. And we're getting down to it. There's only 4 more Chance postcards to give out before we give the grand prize, which is full of all sorts of baseball cards and stuff like that. And we're also giving away tonight the Amazon prize of the month. And I've got a bunch of these cute little Cubs thermoses, and one of them will be given away to the corresponding item that was purchased through our links at sunranto.com/stuff.
Rogue Way. Oh, yeah, you were just putting that on there too.
Let me do it.
So,
we're having a comment war.
Understand what just happened? When you're sitting in the car
and you're trying to unlock the door, but the person on the outside is trying to open the door at the same time.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. So yeah, Rogue Wave Creative in the chat here. I signed up a friend and they got it in their Gmail. Done. Thank you. There's also, by the way, there are also free trials available. So if you just want to try it out and see if you like hanging out over in the Discord, do it that way. But the reason I'm excited about tonight is not only we're going to do the Rancher Carols, we're going to talk about all the incredible moves the Cubs made at the winter meetings. Just the plethora. It's a new team. It's a brand new team.
I just love the idea that we talked about this. We're like, the winter meetings end on Thursday. We can't go on Wednesday.
Yeah.
If we do, all the stuff will happen on Thursday. And then so we pushed it and nothing happened. I think maybe we jinxed it. Had we had a show last night, the Cubs would have Ohtani today.
Well, how about people like, did you see like Cody Del Mendo and the Chuggo crew? They were all there. Just they were doing like 2 podcasts a day. They're in the hall, like hanging out with Rosenthal, just trying to figure out anything. They just basically went all the way there to have the same podcast we're going to have tonight, which is the Cubs did nothing. They just did it a little closer to Jed Hoyer and his lack of doing that. Jed Hoyer wasn't even there. Chuggo was there and Jed Hoyer wasn't there. All the Cubs bloggers hanging out John Boy was there. I think that I heard on Ian Happ's podcast that they sent a delegation. So all these dudes are there. Jed Hoyer couldn't be bothered. But anyway, the other reason why I'm excited is because our friend Joe Kilgallen, who's been on the show many a time, very funny comedian, and he just released a brand new comedy special, which I had the pleasure of watching just the other day. It's freaking brand new and it's awesome. And so I just want to invite him on here to talk a little bit about it. And talk Cubs because he's a huge Cubs fan. So here he is, fresh from sitting in traffic. It's Joe Kilgallen.
Hey, what's up, Danny Rocket, IFG, Cotton? How you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I've been constipated, if I'm being honest with you. So
Actually,
I feel like we all have a lot of stuff built up that we really wish would just get released all of a sudden.
honestly,
Finally.
you've been stuck in traffic. It's great to be constipated versus the other way around. So you're like, well, at least I'm not going to shit myself.
Sometimes you got to count your blessings, right? So,
well, it's all that like Christmas nugget candy that's just hanging out in candy bowls all over the place. You just grab a little bit of nugget and you're like, oh, nugget, that just sits in there till really Valentine's Day, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, just the sound of it tells you it's going to sit there, right? It sounds perfect.
Yeah. So you got a new comedy special. And I did watch it the other day. It's very funny, man. And tell me about like how that all came about and what you're trying to do with it. And is it like, and where can we watch it and stuff?
Sure. Well, you could watch it. I put it right there for my name. It's a new comedy platform called Punch Up. So punchup.live and then /Joe-Kilgallen. It takes you right to the special. And then it's got like my tour dates on there too. Like, I'm doing some traveling in the next couple months. So hopefully I'll be in a town near you. The special.
I heard you're playing Arlington Heights tomorrow.
I am. I'm playing your hometown. How about it?
Yeah, I'm from the AH Action Heights. We called it back in the day.
Did you really?
No, we didn't. That came later when millennials made cool shit up. We never called it anything. We just thought it sucked. We were basically Beavis and Butthead trying not to get hit by commuter trains. Is basically what Arlington Heights was like back then. Now they're big time. Got the Bears.
They're going to get their own NFL team soon enough. It sounds
amazing.
Like. So, it came about. It was filmed in Brooklyn, New York, a little over a year ago. It was fall of 2022. It took a while. It took a little over a year for it to finally come out. A lot of that had to do with, the guy who directed it, who's a friend of mine. He does a great job, but he ended up kind of becoming like a famous director shortly after he filmed mine. He filmed Sam Morrill's Netflix special. He filmed Mark Norman's Netflix special. Gary Goldman has a special coming out on Max. He filmed those. A guy named James Webb. So he got kind of like, and I understand that, people get a little busy. So that added a little bit of time, not much though. And then there was the whole writers and actors strike. And I was going back and forth with my manager where it's like, I know writing is different. Like the writing stand-up is different than like WGA script style writing. So there were, everyone was telling me you could still sell it during the strike. I thought it might look bad, but then anyway, I got like an offer or two. I didn't love the offers. This website came around and I love what they're doing. And they got some great comedians on there, like fellow Cubs fan Roy Wood Jr. You can watch his stuff on there. He's a great guy. So I decided to launch it there, but I'm
going to share the link in the chat right now, actually, so that everybody can jam on it. I watched it last night. It's called Good Grief.
Yes, Good Grief.
Why'd you call it that?
So I was working.
Big Charlie Brown fan.
I was going to say
Brown.
Chicago sports fan Charlie Brown is exactly what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone a lot of ways with that title. I like the title. So in 2021, I was kind of putting this material together, and a lot of it was kind of based off my hot-headed ways, my confrontational ways. But then early in 2022, sadly, my father passed away suddenly. My dad and I were extremely close. He's the reason I'm a huge Cubs fan, so he's to blame. It kind of changed what I wanted to do with the hour, with the special. So the last like 8 minutes or so, I kind of share some stories about my dad and I kind of pay tribute to him. So that's where I was kind of like, it's good and it's grief. And I kind of put together, and Good Grief's got a lot of different meanings. I like 2-word titles for things. So I thought that was kind of cool.
It was hilarious at the end of it when you were talking about when your dad hated like the special episode, like the
Yes.
special Roseanne where they talk about eating disorders or whatever. It's like, God damn it, just be funny.
He couldn't stand those episodes. Like Home Improvement would do that. Roseanne did it a lot. There's a lot of sitcoms. Because when I started talking about my dad dying, a few people kind of laughed because they thought, oh no, shit, he's being serious. And then I told them, no, you guys could laugh. I want you to laugh. That's the point of this. This isn't going to be like, and then I used the Roseanne because I felt like every other episode of Roseanne's first 4 years was good as a sitcom. The last 3 years, it was like Dan lost his job. He had a heart attack. Jackie got beat up by her boyfriend. It was like, this is a drama now. It's not a sitcom. So
a lot of sitcoms were like that in the 80s. Like you remember all this like funny stuff. Like you're a kid, you're watching these shows and stuff. And then you go back and you watch and you're like, these were just after school specials that started at 7 p.m.
Yeah, basically.
I'm a little older, but did you watch Different Strokes ever? That show with Gary Coleman. There was one where like the one kid got molested in the bike shop. And I'm like, I mean, it's good.
As a lifelong fan of stand-up comedy who has seen over the years a lot of my favorite comedians change their target audience, I'm really intrigued by the name of this platform, and I would love to hear more about what they're doing.
Oh, so here's what's really cool about the platform. So it was started by a friend of mine named Steve Byrne, and I met the other main guy. He's like the main guy. The other guy I have not met. But the main guy was he worked in tech. He was a tech guy, and I actually just went over his LinkedIn. It's some pretty impressive like it's an impressive resume. Like even out of college, he was like interning for some senators and some stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this guy seems pretty cool. But
nobody knows comedy like tech dudes that worked for senators.
Oh, totally. Yeah, right. Absolutely. They got their fingers on the pulse, those guys. But yeah, I don't know how well he knows comedy per se, but his thought process behind this platform was all the other platforms. Like if my special ends up on, I don't know, Amazon Prime, I don't know who watched the special. I don't get that data, so I don't know anything about it. But with Punch Up, that's really cool. It's kind of like it's like from artist to fan direct service. It cuts out the middleman. So like Danny, when you went to watch the special, it asked you for your email, but no spam. It's only going to email you if I'm in your town, and if I'm dropping another special, it'll be like, hey, heads up, he's got a new thing coming out.
Yeah, it was super easy. I put my email, I had to scan my driver's license, I had to give my credit card number, and they wanted my birth certificate, my mom's maiden name, and my password from my bank account. But that was it. Then that was
the year you lost your virginity, which
so it's
2025.
I heard. But yeah, so to answer the question about like Punch Up, I think I don't know if it's a dual meaning. Most of the comedians they have on there, I think, wouldn't fit the category of punching down. So I haven't seen any of that. There's only about 12 or 13 of us on there. If you go on the website right now, punchup.live, on the main thing, they show you all the comedians they have on there. Some of them I know, some of them I don't know, but I'm looking forward to checking them out. But the whole idea is just like going direct from the comedian to the fan. So it is kind of cool though. I got like it's only been up for 3 days or something now. But I was able to get like I was able to check like the numbers and stuff. And I'm like, someone in Japan watched it. What?
Oh, cool.
I got a fan in Japan. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, then Seiya Suzuki.
Maybe it's Seiya. It might be. So yeah. So you get
now
like
you
that
have
information.
Seiya's email address.
Jed Hoyer is in there trying to rizz up Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Watching the Joe Kilgallen special in his hotel room.
You know what? That would make me I'd be very high on Jed if we found out the reason he hasn't been around much or isn't active is because he's been in Japan. If he's learning sushi, he's learning to speak the language. He wants to, immerse himself in the Japanese culture. Because I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember when the Yankees had that pitcher, Tanaka?
Yeah.
Tanaka,
yeah. And the Cubs were kind of in the conversation for him. And I remember I thought it was overblown, but some people said what hurt Chicago is Chicago doesn't really have a strong Japanese neighborhood. We obviously
actually been trying to. Danny himself has been trying to combat that idea. Where's the Chicago Japanese neighborhood, Danny? You
Well,
told everybody about
the
it.
suburbs, like, you know, I had my friends that were my mom's friends, actually, if it went from when she taught English at the library. This guy Tatsuya, who I gave him his first shot of Malort's, which went great, but uh, it he they lived out he works for a Japanese company, and there is out in the suburbs not only a lot of Japanese people, but because there's lots of Japanese companies that are stationed in Chicago. So there is, but it's not in Chicago. And of course, a lot of Japanese, after the tragedy of relocation in the internment camps in World War II, a lot of them were moved into very specific neighborhoods in Chicago. And then that's why Nisei Lounge is still there. That's like a holdover of not one of the original internment neighborhoods, but somewhere that a lot of people moved after they were freed from the neighborhoods where they were still basically interned but free in Chicago. And then they were like, "Oh, we got to get out of here," and they moved by Wrigley. And that's what Nisei Lounge is, a holdover of that time. So there are pockets, but it's not San Francisco. It's it's not anywhere on the West Coast. It's it's not going to be like.
And every time we contact one of these Japanese baseball players and we show them Nisei Lounge, they don't go to the Cubs. I don't understand why exactly, but they just have decided no. That's not going to be our thing.
Nisei had a tough week. We're going to talk about that a little bit bit.
The more thing, I'd love to weigh in on that.
Yeah.
But I just thought it'd be funny if Jed was actually doing that, trying to create more of a little Japan in Chicago. By the way, Danny, that I did not know any of that history, and I'm a history buff, so thank you for that. I'm going to go on a deep dive into that.
I completely made it up, so it's on a whole cloth on this show. No, that's really what it was. There was something there's something that it's the Nisei Lounge neighborhood by Wrigleyville is not the original place where they were put after internment, but it was the second place that they fled to after that. So interesting.
Yeah, because as soon as you get out of an internment camp, the place you go to is Wrigleyville, if you can.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Mid-40s Cubs teams, those mid-40s Cubs teams, the 1945 Cubs, of course.
Yeah,
we didn't want to be around that.
Yeah, they're like, let's go to the last place that won the World Series or was in the World Series. They didn't win that one.
Pretty much.
So yeah, it's but let's talk about Ohtani, can we, a little bit, because he's still not signed, and the Cubs are rumored in, rumored out, rumored in, rumored out. At least we're on the short list. That's all I could say. At least we're making the finals of the Bachelorette, kind of thing. Who will get the rose? I don't know. Like, it's how they should do it. All the dudes should line up, all the general managers, and Ohtani comes out with a rose and hands them.
Oh, that would be amazing.
They kiss. Yeah.
Major League Baseball is definitely missing a great opportunity here, because it doesn't need to be the way like LeBron did his decision, where it felt like it was in poor taste, especially since he was from Cleveland. This is a little bit different with Shohei, and he doesn't need to quite do it like that, but it definitely should be like a press conference type thing. They should definitely magnify it, because all eyes are on this.
Do it like the Japanese draft, where you have all the guys lined up and every one of them gets an envelope and they all open the envelope and the winner has his name in the envelope. And then
I love that.
Oh, we got him. Oh God, it would be
great. That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that.
Now I want to watch a Japanese baseball draft.
Yeah. Well, because it's so much fun to see people get excited. I mean, children basically for the last 20 years have been going on YouTube watching kids open presents. Everybody loves it. So now those kids are turning 21 soon. You know what I mean? They're going to want to see some people opening things on regular TV. They're going to need it. In fact,
I
want a security blanket.
Ohtani to unbox and not like real money, but like money that just unbox what 500 million would look like. Just like
be fun if he
just like fake money, but he like opens up all these boxes and then you see like
I want somebody to just back up a literal truck full of
give him the Scrooge McDuck moment,
Yeah, and so he's not the only Japanese player, but everybody's going nuts. Like you have Hoyer and Nightingale getting into it about it because
Mhm.
Nightingale saying they're out, and Hoyer's like, "We are not out," and
How
he's like,
dare
"I'm not
you?"
talking to." Yeah, exactly. And then everybody's going. He's going to the Dodgers. He's going to
I still say
the
that's the most
Blue
boring
Jays.
possible outcome.
Was Dempster kidding about that secret team? Did you see the
Yeah, he was
Dempster
kidding.
secret?
Oh
He was
my
kidding. There's
God.
always a secret team that shows up. Yeah, he was kidding about that because usually that's always the thing. There's the three obvious choices whenever there's a big free agent. And the three obvious choices usually the teams with the most money and a need for that position, So that's why it's kind of limited. And then there's always that dark horse sleeper team where no one knows about. Kind of the Cubs kind of became that with Swanson last year. We all thought it was going to be one of the big shortstops. And if we didn't get one of them, then it would slide back. And then, Swanson ended up having an awesome year. Well, offensively, he could have been a little bit better, but he was still very good. With Shohei, though, IFG, I just heard you say the most boring possible outcome is LA. I would agree because it feels like the most predictable. It feels like everyone thought that. The Dodgers had a big payroll gap this year. Like they finally got rid of a couple bad contracts. They don't have to pay that piece of shit Bauer anymore. So there's some money rolled off.
It's just the place where like formerly beloved franchise face players go to toil in obscurity on a team that's going to choke every single year. It is the most Velvet Revolver ass team on earth.
I could see why it's appealing to him, though, if we're going to see the flip side of it, right? I agree with you. I don't want him to go there, of course. I want him to wear this color blue, Cubby blue. But he gets to bat in between Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, play for a franchise that will always try to win every single season. And they got some really good sushi in LA, like such good sushi.
Well, and he
I don't know
doesn't
why
have
I'm
to
assuming
move.
Japanese people only eat sushi. You know what I mean? They'd be like, "Oh, Kilgallen, you got to sign with Boston. They got great potatoes." But the thought.
Chicago's got decent sushi. I mean, at this point, it's not like all the fish is just like coming in out of the LA freaking ocean right there. You wouldn't want that fish anyway. It's got like freaking syringes and bandanas and diapers in it. I don't know why bandanas. But
syringes, bandanas, and diapers.
The freaking just rolled up in seaweed.
It's like a heroin addict of a fish.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, no, they've got plenty of great sushi places here, but it's not even about that. I think it's more about like the fact that there would be more culture, and I know that Yamamoto, who's another Japanese player that we all want to get, because he's basically the best player in Japan. He said he wants to maybe go to a team, and we don't know if this is true or anything. But that already has a Japanese player, and I was slightly dreaming on the fact that we could just completely become like the Japanese Mecca. And all of a sudden we got Ohtani, we got Yamamoto, you already got Seiya. And as much as I would love that, like it would be weird for Chicago to have that because that's just not, you can see the Giants doing it. You know what I mean? They have a large Asian.
I think it would be very cool for them to do it.
It'd be awesome. I want us to do it. I just said it would be really surprising for us to do that.
Okay, surprising, yes. Yeah.
Sure, but if you consider like which team has the most like room to gain as far as popularity overseas, like if you go to Japan, there's already San Francisco Giants crap everywhere because the Yomiuri Giants is practically the same thing, and people like, and you've got, Seattle stuff over there a lot because of Ichiro. You've got Dodger stuff over there because of past players. You got Yankee stuff over there because of past players. You don't see a whole lot of Chicago stuff. Like if you wanted to plant the name of the Chicago Cubs in Japan, that was a good time to do it. You do that by signing the two best potential Japanese players of all time. I mean, like look at this guy. Look at this guy, Yamamoto, right? I got him here. This was put up by Yaku Cosmopolitan, a good friend of mine on Twitter. And they're like, look, Yoshinobu Yamamoto's achievements before his 26th birthday. He's got the ERA title 4 times, the strikeout title 4 times, 3 MVPs, 3 Sawamura awards. That's the Japanese version of the Cy Young. 3 Best 9 awards. That's like the all NPB, all-star team kind of thing at the end of the year. The 3 gold gloves, 3 pennants. He won the Japan series. He was a World Baseball Classic champion, Premier 12 champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and of course, he's won the Triple Crown 3 times. He's not 26 years old yet.
Wow.
The day he was born, Sammy Sosa hit his 47th home run in 1998.
Yeah.
I feel really old now.
And I'm
No.
Fuck this guy for making me feel this way. I don't want him now. Forget it.
what have you been doing with your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many teams are in on him though? A lot more than even Ohtani, probably.
30.
It should be all 30, but we all know there's cheap bastard teams that are rebuilding and not trying to win and all that other stuff. What kills me about the rebuilding teams, and we were like this for stretches, although the first rebuild made sense, we had to strip that down to the studs, where they'll say, we're not ready to compete, therefore we're not going to spend money on a good player. Where I'm like, all right, you're just telling your franchise, your fans that you're going to be a while, right? As far as like, I was going to ask you guys this question. IFG, I know you're a big fan of Japanese baseball. Do you know the reverse? What time do Dodgers and Giants games air time zone wise in Japan? Is it on in a convenient time where they're naturally more inclined? Because it's got to be more than just like, oh, the West Coast of Japan is, or the West Coast of America is just closer to Japan.
Yeah, we're about 16 hours different.
It's
Okay.
like, it's never a good time. I think even
But like the cable
Danny's
channels
not a
will air
marketer.
the games
It's never
later
a good
at more
time for
convenient
baseball.
time, too.
Okay, so that really wouldn't matter.
right now it's
real quick,
11:32.
everybody. I don't mean to cut you off. This will probably be San Ranto first, but I need to step away because all the fiber I took earlier to combat my constipation. I might have diarrhea on your podcast live if I don't run. I'm going to be quick.
It's
probably
probably
I'll
not
be
a
back.
first either, but
It's definitely not a first.
Not a
Didn't
first. Everyone's
Danny,
had to
didn't
run
you
off to-
prepare for a
You're planning on
colonoscopy on the
coming back?
show once?
I'm planning on coming back, but you guys have all had to run off at one point to commit a sin in your bathroom because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sit in there.
Just don't do a Frank Drebin.
we'll give you a fighting. Yeah, exactly. He's still got it. We'll give him a fighting chance. We'll take a commercial break here, and we'll be right back. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/sunrando.
For more of
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn, line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a Super Ranter today.
We're kind of back. Joe Kilgallen is not back yet. Oh, and I forgot to put my hat back on. It's digging into my ears because I have the headphones on over the hat, and it's just like I have to like keep it on top of my head because it just digs into it. By the end of like 2 hours, it's like rubbed raw. Like, why do my ears hurt? I'm like, oh yeah, the headphones and the hat. They don't
Make
mix.
the headphones a little looser, man.
Yeah, what I need
No.
is like I need those like Billie Eilish headphones, you know, like the ones that are big, you know, that so I look cool and I'm listening to my own music. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm great. You know, I'm a superstar. Well, let's get back into talking about because, you know, I thought it was interesting. I was listening to the Fly the W podcast, which is Crawley's turncoat ass show, and he he actually texted me a pretty great graphic that he made for the Fly the W. So I'm gonna put it up. He already got Soto off the list. He scratched it off when he sent it to us this morning. But you got the top tier free agents, top tier trade targets, tier 2 free agents, tier 2 trade targets, and then tier 3 of both of those things. And it really feels like we might be picking, it kind of reminds me of like when you go to one of those restaurants where you're like, pick one thing off menu 1 and pick 2 things off menu 2 and 1 thing off menu 3, and that's your meal. But you can't get 2 things from menu 2. Like, it just feels like we're at one of those restaurants where I'm not going to exactly get what I want because they don't serve it the way I want it. And because what we want is the top 2 free agents, Ohtani, Yamamoto. Hell, I'll take Snell that he's got on this list too.
Right. I mean,
great.
As long as we get the first 2, we'll throw in a third. That's fine. We'll take Snell.
So, by the way, and total credit to Crawley for all this stuff too, because but I'm look at all the publicity I'm giving him. It says "Fly the W" right on our screen. But yeah, Ohtani, Yamamoto, that's huge. But it doesn't even feel like we haven't heard anything about Alonso recently. Dylan Cease, like they were talking about him to the Reds. I'm like, why aren't we in on that? I guess we're not. I don't know why. He used to be on the freaking Cubs, and I guess we're like, yeah, he's had his moments.
Is it because the White Sox maybe don't want to trade?
Yeah, probably.
With us? Like that might be a thing. I don't know. How weird would that be for Dylan Cease to go from the Cubs to the White Sox and then back to the Cubs?
Yeah. I don't know how many times that's happened. Probably just a handful. And then you've got, I can see Bellinger, Matt Chapman. I mean, we've been rumored with that guy, but everybody's kind of like hot and cold. Bellinger, though, I could see him coming back. I think that the moment Ohtani signs, if you don't sign Bellinger, I don't know what you're doing. Because those 2 positions that you need. And, he fills both of them. And then, we're not getting, he has trade targets of Corbin Burns, Alex Bregman, and Glasnow. We're heavy in on the Glasnow thing, but I think that's only 1 year. And like, he only pitches like 107 innings and he's been an injury machine, but he's awesome. He's an awesome pitcher when he's not dead. And then you've got Rhys Hoskins, which we're heavily connected to. And that feels like last year's Bellinger deal in a way, like prove it. You're coming back from injury. Then your Jorge Soler, you get him back. But I mean, how many outfielders do we already fucking have?
I was going to say, where are you putting Soler if you bring him back? He's not a center fielder, and that's the spot we need.
And then you got Shane Bieber, who we talked about last week, Kim, who we talked about last week from Korea, and Isaac Paredes, which I don't know anything about that. But let me bring Joe back in to discuss some of these dudes. Joe, how did it all go?
Wow. It looks like the Cubs off season so far in that toilet. You know what I mean?
So there was nothing.
No, it was basically.
Joe, I would be back for another half hour. Like I would be done. I'd be like, yeah.
It was.
My legs would be like falling asleep, and I couldn't walk afterwards. It wouldn't be good.
Well, I am a pro, but it was quick. It was quick as I thought it would be. I'm just glad I got to the toilet in time.
We are too, although that would have been a first.
Yeah, I want to break that glass ceiling.
Not a great time to have a glass ceiling. In fact, especially if you're downstairs, just be like, "What is that?" So. All right. So the Cubs, let's say they don't get Ohtani because it's a dream anyway that we're all having. We could have it for a few more days until they decide something else. But then what you have to immediately do is something else, right? I mean, and what is that thing? IFG, what do you do immediately the moment Ohtani is signed to the Dodgers?
Try and then
I'll let you go first. Sorry.
Yeah, no, cry and then sign a lot of old fun people. I get Joey Votto and Andrew McCutcheon and just anybody that's gonna piss off the rest of the NL Central just so we can sell their jerseys in Cubs colors.
Yeah, because
I think that'd be
we've already got
hysterical.
Council. You get Votto, you get McCutcheon, you got Otani.
There you go. If we're gonna suck, we should have a lot of fun doing it.
Oh,
Oh,
We should definitely buy. We should definitely buy Cubs Council jerseys to wear up to Miller Park. Like that is a pretty
I'm
damn good
confused.
troll.
I thought this was if we got Otani, you'd bring those other guys in because they wouldn't cost.
No,
much.
if we didn't get Otani,
No, if
you
we buy
don't-
Otani, then we go all in. We spend every dollar Tom Ricketts has because it's not my money. I don't give a shit. You bring in Otani, you sign Bellinger, you do all the things. Trade for Alonso, do the stuff.
But
and
if
then
you
go
don't
buy-
get him, you
and
go
then
the
go
other
buy
way.
Soto
And you
next
just
year.
you sign the softball team.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because then because we're gonna intelligently spend or whatever and save money to go after Juan Soto or not next year.
it's funny you bring up intelligent spending because Jesse Rogers was tweeting out a lot of things that sounded to Menke Barbecue as I smell intelligent spending Hoskins and maybe a mid starter, and that's all they do. And that does kind of feel almost like last year. And we got Bellinger, then we lost Bellinger because he's just off doing something else. So we got to bring him back. And then you've just replaced Bellinger with Bellinger. We need to replace Bellinger with Bellinger, and you need to replace Stroman. So, I mean,
Yeah, so you sign a bunch of old fun dudes, and then you spend this year raising the babies, and then next year you try after bigger free agents. If you're not going to get them this year, get them next year.
what do you do, Joe? What the moment Otani signs and that domino falls?
See, I think you have to then look to making a massive trade. Like, I don't think they could have another. I mean, you went out and got Craig Counsell, unless you truly are under the thought process of David Ross was the reason we didn't make the playoffs and we could have won 90 games and blah, blah, blah. Because everyone thought, like, all right, we got Counsell. Now we're going to roll out the red carpet and get him some big players. That's why Counsell came here. Also, Counsell came here because he was getting $8 million. And maybe
Hold on, yeah, I was just going to say, did you think that when you heard the Counsell news? Because it seemed to be a lot of people thought, oh, we got Craig Counsell. That means we are going all in on a spending spree. Was that your thought, or did you have other thoughts?
I thought, honestly, I did not think spending spree right away. I don't know why. I thought I should have, because when we got Madden, we went out and spent. We got Lester. We traded for Dexter Fowler. We traded for Miguel Montero. We signed some players, and then we added even more the next year. So we went big back-to-back years in free agency. I don't know why. I just feel like with Counsell, they kind of thought to themselves, we're going to steal some extra wins here. It's been so, like, I'll give Jed a lot of credit. He keeps it so close to the chest that you don't know what he's thinking as of right now, right? But he has yet to prove to us that he could go out there and get the big dog, right? Swanson turned out to be the right signing, sure. Although second half Trey Turner looked unbelievable. But do we honestly, any of us feel confident that he could go out there and get the premier person on the market? I don't.
We haven't seen it yet. No. And, and until he does it, if he comes home with one of these brand new shiny toys, then you could say that he did it at least the one time. And then you could expect that of him. But until he does it, I agree. And it seems like if there's going to be, the pocketbook is slowly opening back up in Chicago. Like, you got Hayward off the books now, not that should ever freaking matter, because it certainly didn't matter to the freaking Mets and Dodgers to go spend $350 million and the Padres. And you know what? And you can tear it down real fast. Juan Soto is now a Yankee.
Yep.
And they just got rid of that money. Okay, well, we only had 1 year, and they got a bunch of prospects in return. It was a pretty decent return for Juan Soto. Like, they got one or two of those guys is going to work out. They got 7 names.
Massive overpay.
Yeah, it was a pretty big overpay. I mean, some people are saying it wasn't. Like,
the Cubs could have matched that without us hurting our farm system overall. You know what I mean? We could have matched that. And some people are like, but then it's only 1 year. He's a Boris client, I'm pretty sure. So they never extend beforehand. And I'm like, still, it's 1 year of Juan fucking Soto. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't you want that? That's my whole thing. So yeah, to answer your question, if Otani's off the board, I'm still going hard for the next tier.
The next,
And-
so you're from Crawley's tier. And I'll put Crawley's tier back up. So the tier 1 trade targets are Alonso would still be out there with Soto gone. You'd still got to take care of first base, and then you could also take care of that with Bellinger at first. But you're kind of wasting his glove. Because it's center field, but who knows what you're doing with PCA? Like, there's a lot of moving parts, of course, but
well,
yeah,
it could start the year in AAA, and then if he does come knocking hard, then you can move Bellinger to right field. Suzuki could DH, Alonso at first. I mean, there's options that I know a lot of us don't love the DH, but at least it does make it where you could play with some things a little bit.
Yeah. No, you can. And then the Glass now thing, I know everybody's excited. He's got swing and miss stuff, and I'm like, yeah, for 100 innings, and that, I mean. Imagine it. Like, he's a starter. Let's say he goes 5-6 innings a start, 100 innings. That's 20 games. It's like about half of what you'd want,
Yeah.
It's not like what Arrieta's given you in 2016. It's not like one of these performances where you're going to eat a certain amount of innings. And then when that guy's going out there, you don't have to worry about your bullpen. You can just draw it up. You're going to get 7 solid, you're not going to get that out of Glass now. You got to be careful with him. They might need to shut his ass down at the end of the year because he pitched too much even,
that reminds me, with the shutting pitchers down, I don't know why a team hasn't done this yet, where your pitcher's on an inning limit, right? Why start him at the start of the year? Why not call him up in June or July?
Thank you. And
like
don't
the
have him
Dodgers
pitching don't have him go to Iowa and throw whatever 4, 5, 6 games and then come, and then, because those are still you're still throwing.
Well, just training start in May. Why, why shut a guy down in August and then fuck yourself in September and October when it matters
They have
most?
extended spring training. You could totally do that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Makes all the sense.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm with you, Joe. That's exactly what I was thinking when Danny was talking. I'm like, why wouldn't they just bring him in when they think the 100 innings is gonna start?
Yeah.
Because I'll say, like, even though I don't think Rhys Hoskins is bad, he missed all of last year because of being injured. He tore an ACL. But he's got a serious amount of pop. He is right-handed, so he doesn't solve that lefty problem for you, but he solves the first base problem for you. And then, I don't know, it's not he's really good, and I think he probably does bounce back. A lot of people are like, just give him a 1-year prove-it deal. I don't see that happening. I think that, some team is going to be like, we believe in you, Rhys. We want you to be our first baseman for like 3 years,
I believe that, and I think that's about right. If I were his agent, I wouldn't settle for a 1-2 year deal. I'd make like 2 with a 3rd year option, maybe. I know he missed all of last year, but you just showed the stats. This guy at his worst is 20% above league average offensively.
Yeah, I'll put it back up.
Look at that, 123, 129, 138. So he's had some big years, and he had 30 home runs last year. His career high is 34. He walks a good amount, solid on base percentage up and down his career for the most part. This isn't like with Trey Mancini, where he had had a good season since 2019. This guy had a good year in 2022.
Yeah, until
right. And what the hell happened in 2019? 116 walks. Holy shit! Like, he's not even like he's not within 40 of that any other year. And
I'll tell you what happened. It was Bryce Harper's first season. And Rhys was coming off a big year the year before when he had 34 home runs, 850 OPS. And I think people just kind of were more careful with him. And then they just kind of went the other way in 2020. Well, it was a short season and all that, though.
And then,
2020, 29 could be close to the top.
Yeah, it'd probably be, you do 41 games, 29 walks. Yeah, he'd probably be around the leaderboard that year.
And then they've been talking to Cleveland too about a couple of guys. We talked about Shane Bieber, who, there's your Stroh replacement, I guess. They've been talking about Emmanuel Clase as well, which I just would like, because I like the word classe. I'm feeling classe today. But then they're talking about this Naylor dude, who's not bad, not quite as much pop as Rhys. I don't know. This does not excite me, but I guess he's been rumored. He had a good year last year.
I mean, Naylor only
133
excites you if you do a bunch
OPS
of other moves. He can't I think that's the big fear, is that we're just going to piece together all these moves where we all so desperately wanted that big splash. It feels like this Cubs offense, even with Bellinger returning to pretty close to old Bellinger form, it was lacking a superstar, like that one superstar to kind of tie it all together. Whereas our last run, Rizzo and Bryant won the MVP. Rizzo finished 4th. Rizzo was top 5 in MVP voting 2 years in a row. So you could, and Bryant came up a superstar right away, where we have a lot of great offensive players in our pipeline. I don't know if any of them are hit the ground running superstar right away. I just don't know. Maybe that third baseman Shaw, but he's still maybe a year away.
Well, that's what everybody's counting on. And I'm kind of like, I mean, we've all, I want it to happen. I mean, it seems like he's the real deal, but everybody said that about Brendan Davis too.
Yeah,
Things happen, man.
We're sitting here staring at a basket of eggs and counting our chickens.
I mean, everybody was so excited. I mean, freaking Mash Mervis got an obvious shirt. You know what I mean? Like, he's just up, and then all of a sudden they just gave up on him after 2 weeks. And I'm like, dude, he was hitting the ball hard. He kind of was putting it together. They didn't give him a chance.
He did a good. Well,
I think that's something that Craig Counsell is going to do better than David Ross ever did. He has no problem playing the babies and seeing, what he can get out of them.
I'm super excited about that. That's maybe the one thing about Counsell that I am the most excited about, is that he's not averse to going to young guys. And especially this week, he said about Morel. He said Morel seems to have
I've got it.
You've got it. Yeah.
He basically
needs to be in the lineup.
Chris Morel needs to be in the lineup, and he's earned that. Craig Counsell on Christopher Morel. What was David Ross's quote? I don't know where the hell we're going to put this guy. I don't know where we could play him.
That was to motivate him, and it worked.
Was it though? Was it?
Steps, my friend.
Then why'd he sit him?
Sit him.
Why'd he play him
when
in
he came
17
up,
different positions?
If you remember, when he came up, he didn't play right away. Then he had a big game where he hit a home run, hit another home run, and then he played 8 games in a row where he was hitting a home run. And then he played the bulk of the time for a while, but then he started to dip here or there. I think Morel should be in the lineup every day too. I would rather we give third base to Morel than sign Chapman, who after April was very pedestrian, and Chapman's going to want a multi-year deal. Why sign a guy to a 4-year deal who is a defensive first player on a team that needs offense? And also when you have Shaw, who is going to be knocking on the door soon enough if he continues the insane run he went on last year as a first-year professional player. I mean, he just drafted that Shaw kid, but everyone is already saying he's going to crack the top 100 prospects by May.
Joe,
100%.
the big mistake
And if you consider, defensively, he's already on the decline because he's old.
Yeah. The big mistake you're making here, Joe, is that Madrigal locked down third base last year. I mean, you absolutely have to have Madrigal there. I mean,
he's the linchpin of the lineup.
That outfield crow hop he used to get the ball to first base was a lot of fun to watch.
He quit doing that at some point,
He got stronger.
He gave it up like Soriano gave it up. He was just like, it was amazing. I was like, Soriano was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. He just stopped.
Yeah. This is the thing that we've been talking about all last year. Madrigal got better. He got better throughout the season. He got really good. And then all of a sudden at the end of the season, you had Cubs fans and the stat heads talking oh, he's an elite third baseman and blah, blah, blah. It's well, I mean, maybe, but you could have put Morel there too.
Let him practice.
Let him have all those starts, those 100+ starts. And maybe he doesn't get to whatever level Madrigal got to. But it's not enough. It wouldn't be enough of a drop off that he wouldn't make that up in his bat, which he clearly is a better. I'd rather have Morel's bat than Madrigal's any day.
IFG, you were a little worried that Morel hadn't been in the lineup for the Aguilas for a couple days.
He missed one day.
Okay.
And then he was back. I was
But it was the day that people started talking about trading him for Glasnow, right?
Exactly. So it's just I'm not I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not an insider, but in my experience, Rays players who are at the MLB level don't play in Winter League.
Yeah, and
So
I
when
don't.
the rumors started swirling that he might be on the trade block with Glasnow involved, and then he wasn't in the lineup the same day, I was like, hold up. But he was back today.
And that specific deal, I don't like.
I don't
You know, like Morel in a deal for Glasnow.
It couldn't be straight up. That would be awful. That would have to be part of a package where Tampa gives us someone else, because I would have to get Jed's head checked if he did Morel for Glasnow straight up. Like you said, he's a pitcher who's never thrown more than 120 innings. Yeah, that stuff's amazing when it plays, but I know a lot of people like this expression: the best ability is availability.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Right.
I do want to give a shout out to Terry E in the chat room, and also our guy Corey Furlong, who says some nice things about my comedy and stuff like that. And after my dad passed, which thank you, Corey, it was really cool of you. Terry E says, or did we get Craig Counsell because he's the guy who does more with less?
Yeah.
And that was kind of what I was alluding to earlier.
That's like the first thing I said when we got him. And I was like, oh no. They're like, he's so efficient. They're like, no, we don't have the good players. I'm like, we're never getting any stars. We're going to be built like the freaking Brewers. We're going to have a bunch of number 5s that pitch like 3s for a year. He's going to piece something together, bat everybody right, which hell,
what was
maybe
hilarious,
he can do that. I mean, I'm for it.
I just feel like he wouldn't do this. And this is Christopher Morel's defensive statistics, including minor leagues, winter league, all that. And I have highlighted all the times in this last year that he's played third base. And like his defensive like percentage here, you can see in AAA 958, and down here in winter league. Right now, where he's playing as almost like an everyday third baseman with the Aguilas. They started him off in left field, then they moved him to shortstop, and then they put him on third base.
Hold on.
16
Quick
games
Morel
now.
watch. How many times has he played first base?
0 times has he played first base. So they started him in left field, they moved him to shortstop. Now he's at third base. He has been at third base for 16 games. The season's only a month long. And his defensive like percentage there is 970. You know what? And then like here in MLB, he was given 39.1 innings at third base. And
I mean, just
at the
give
same
him
time,
the position.
He played 148 innings at second base. He played 80 innings in center field. He played 40 innings in left field, 62 in right field, 10 at shortstop. Like,
and
how the hell is anybody
those,
supposed to learn a position moving around like that?
Yeah, and none of those were in a row.
Only one player could have pulled that off, and that was Javi. Going from one place to the next over and over and over again. That was, and Zobrist did that too, but not quite like this, and
Zobrist had been doing that for 10 years by the time he saw a Chicago Cubs uniform.
Bernie Barron tweeted Yamamoto. Is there a reason?
He just wants him, or she just wants him.
Oh, okay. I was like, because I'm waiting for breaking news. Like I'm still in that kind of mode of just like something's got to happen, right? Please, somebody break some news for us on this show. That'd be great.
I was just so delighted when I heard that Craig Counsell had, given Christopher Morel his due and said, this is a guy who has earned an actual job in a lineup.
Yeah. Well, and play it till it doesn't play anymore. If it doesn't work out, you can always change it. It's like you can move him back to DH or something. If it's really unplayable, they'll know that in a month, but they never gave it a shot to work out. He never played more than 2 days in a row at third base for the Cubs last year. And it was a position we didn't even really have. But they wanted magical in there.
A lot of that's on Jed's roster construction.
True.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of stuff where it's easier to blame the manager, but think about that bullpen that we went to camp with, that we went to the season with. Think about, Eric Haas. I don't know why. So, we're talking
I have no idea why
we
had Eric Hosmer for 1 minute.
Why do we get Hosmer? I mean, Trey Mancini, I thought, okay, fine, because then you could platoon Matt Mervis's lefty bat with Mancini's righty bat. Let's give it a shot. Even though Mancini hadn't been good since 2019, Tucker Barnhart had been good since 2019, Eric Hosmer had been good since 2019, Cody Bellinger hadn't been good since 2019, but we got lucky and he turned it around. So, which by the way, I heard he liked Ross a lot. So if he's not sniffing us, maybe we know why. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. There was just a lot going into last year's season where it was like, all right, like I thought the biggest mistake was getting Hosmer and starting the year with him instead of having Mervis. Give Mervis a real shot. Mervis went back to AAA and still crushed it. And so I don't know why we're still just writing this poor bastard off.
It's amazing to me. We don't know. It's a mystery.
He could be. We don't know if he could be good or not. He looked over at the time, but so did PCA.
So I was like just losing my mind all last season. Like I turned on Jed. I have absolutely turned on Jed. I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy? He doesn't know who he has. He doesn't know his own players. That's what it feels like, right? Because of the Hosmer and Mancini thing. Like,
and Morel.
Hosmer, fine, you signed him because you didn't think you were going to get Mancini, right? Fine.
Yeah.
But you get Mancini. So fucking let's just get rid of Hosmer at this point and go with one of our guys that we know is coming up. Morel, third baseman. Well, no, we have to have Madrigal over there for some reason. And even then, it's like Madrigal and Wisdom, and he doesn't know who he wants over there. And then we get Jeimer Candelario because we clearly don't have a third baseman. And the first thing he does is put him at first base. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was losing my goddamn mind. But then after the season, he fired David Ross. And that kind of blew my mind because it made me think for the first time, maybe David Ross wasn't as much of a team player as I thought he was. And maybe he got the can because, like obviously Craig Counsell came available and he wanted to go to the Cubs. And so you make that deal or whatever. But at the same time, maybe he was just like, no, this is what we want, a guy like Counsell because David Ross isn't doing what we want. So
he wasn't
Manning. Backed off the Jed hate by like a half a step because now I want to see where this Counsell stuff go. Now, if we go into this season again and they keep holding down these, if Canario comes up and hits a fucking grand slam and then they sit him for the next 4 days and nobody says a word about it, I hate Jed again. But, I will give him a little bit of a little bit more leeway right now to see what happens because of the Counsell thing.
Yeah, well, it's funny you brought up Candelario because he went to the Reds, and Billy DeVore was pretty excited about that because that was one we could have used him. I wouldn't have been sad about Jeimer Candelario.
At $15 million per year, 3 years, $45 million was that contract. A guy who could play third and first and switch hit.
And if you're shopping Morel,
you need Candelario would have been nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So you saw him come off the board. Juan Soto would have been nice. He's off the board. And then slowly Vic Caratini went to the Astros. I don't know if you saw that. He's and the Orioles signed Craig Kimbrell. So I think that's pretty interesting. I like him in an Orioles uniform. That feels right. He feels like a Baltimore dude.
And it's just a really good decision by the Orioles. He makes a really great holdover closer until Felix Bautista is back from Tommy John surgery.
Can we market
it's good for the Orioles to have like an actual name on their team.
Yeah, it helps. Name recognition's big.
Yeah.
I think we start marketing the Baltimore man bun for
that's not already a thing.
And the little thing that he would always have behind his hat.
So I feel like I'd be remiss in mentioning that at least one thing actually did happen at the winter meetings, and it was in the minor league Rule 5. I don't know if you looked. It's pretty. It's not really newsworthy, but we got a guy named Hayden Cantrell. So just in case he becomes a thing, we could say we mentioned him. Mark it down. December 7th.
Minor League Rule 5 that happened in parking garage C on the 4th floor.
Yeah, as they say, December 7th, a date that will live in infamy. The day we signed Hayden Cantrell in the Minor League Rule 5 draft. And we lost a couple guys. We lost Andy Weber, Levi Jordan, and a couple of pitchers, a lefty and a righty, Adam Lasky and Sheldon Reed. I'd only heard of Andy Weber.
Oh, no, not Sheldon Reed.
Yep.
I don't fucking know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does anything ever happen at the winter meetings, though? I don't remember last year's winter meetings being a splash. This is just an excuse for these guys to get into some warm weather and get drunk. because they could do this over Zoom. Why do they have to meet to make trades and sign people?
Well, apparently, I mean, I was hearing about it. If you listen to Ian Happ's podcast ever, they were talking about being there and that they all have these suites and they all have their war room and they go back to the war room and they're on their phones and they are still on their phones. But then when they really make the deal, I think they meet up. And I think a lot of things happen in the hotel bar. And so that's the place to be. And I mean, can you imagine just like the worst trades of all time or just because they were drunk? That probably used to happen a lot back in the day. We're like, I did what last night? I traded Babe Ruth. Oh, God. For a showgirl? Oh, no.
For money? For cash considerations? He's the worst.
That's where player to be named later came from. It was a drunk transaction. He's like, I don't know. I'll tell you someone later.
Yeah. Just get rid of this guy.
That would be
Hey, that's how the Pirates got Marco Gonzalez.
Well, I did go to the winter meetings in 2019, right before 2020. And
is that how that works?
Yeah. Well, but I said 2020 in that way, meaning like, and then the unspeakable.
It was yeah.
The last good thing I did. Yeah. Before everything.
Literally months before the world shut down.
So in the hotel, you just look around and there's like Ken Rosenthal standing there and he's super short. And then you see Jeff Passan and he's short too. And you're like, oh my God, these fuckers are so short. And you're like, and you never would think it. And that's why I think they're on TV because they look, just like anybody, like it. You wouldn't never think anybody.
That's why they're always behind podiums.
Yeah. So Tom Cruise is short. In Tom Cruise. That's why Ron DeSantis wears cowboy boots, But so that's fun to see all these dudes walk around. That's really cool. Then you see like random people like Andre Dawson was there. Fergie Jenkins was there trying to get some stuff done. Like
not short.
Fergie Jenkins, not a short man. Did you see he's like tweeting? He's like, show is going to love the restaurants in Chicago. And he's at La Scarola. Have you ever been to La Scarola?
Guys.
Yeah, I got a La Scarola story, but I can't tell it on a live TV show. And then you have Fergie Jenkins out there giving out cigars to everybody at the winter meetings except for Bob Nightingale because he's like, fuck that guy. Love Fergie. Oh, man.
I like the part where Ryan Dempster brought up that, that Andre Dawson was doing some sneaky Ohtani stuff too. Because in his tweet, he's like, I can neither confirm nor deny that if there wasn't a meeting. However, alternate means of communication have not been ruled out as a possible way to keep things quiet. And hawk of unspecified species was spotted flying outside Nashville with a rolled up scroll in his talons.
Was that rolled up scroll a joint?
What
that would close some deals.
Andre Dawson bringing to Shohei Ohtani?
And is H a vowel in Canada?
I don't know. They asked the town crier.
And Hawk.
And Hawk.
Which threw me off. Sorry. I'm an English major. And as soon as I saw it, I cringed.
So we got to at least give short shrift to Malort Gate. And then we'll take it. Well, we can let you go. I could hear your stomach rumbling from here, Joe.
Is it? Maybe.
No, I'm kidding.
I did want to ask you guys though, what so I think, the big question going around, a lot of people asking on Cubs Twitter is if we don't get Ohtani or Bellinger, one of the top tier people, is this offseason a complete waste? And I thought about this earlier today while I was struggling to get poop out. I think the Cubs could still have an offseason that puts them as favorites in the NL Central, which I know doesn't always say much because it's the NL Central after all. But as from a fan's point of view, it would be incredibly frustrating not to shop at that top tier because it feels like it's been since the Jason Hayward, because Hayward was the second or third ranked free agent that year. We'd even offer him the most money. A couple other teams offered him more than us and he signed with us. But since then we've watched generational talent Bryce Harper go by at the age of 26. He was a free agent. Manny Machado was 26, a free agent coming off like the damn near MVP season. We watched him go. So it seems like every offseason,
they did land Darvish. That was the last time, I think.
Darvish, we signed Darvish right after 2017. So the offseason going into 2018 was a big one. And we still stayed under the luxury tax for 2018. We went over in 2019. and then barely over in 2020. We probably would have found a way to get under if it wasn't for the pandemic happening at the worst time, because I think they were going to try to trade Quintana that spring because he had 1 year left and like 10 million. And they, there's a couple guys that, anyway, not to relive the past, but that's why I think the fan base is getting so damn frustrated, because there's been these players where it's like, and look, last year was a nice off season, half and half, right? Swanson and Bellinger, really nice. Season before, Stroman, Suzuki, good, but they're still from that C plus B minus tier. We should be at the A plus tier. And
absolutely.
And maybe Council, because everyone tells me Council's like a 20-war manager, right? Greatest manager of all time. That's all I've heard. He's the Messiah. We signed the Messiah. So maybe he does get you into the playoffs on his own. But don't we as fans who pay the most expensive ticket prices in baseball deserve that assurance of shopping? You know what I mean? We should be shopping at Whole Foods. Like, I don't even want to dog Aldi because I go to Aldi all the time, but like we should be
I love Aldi
at Whole Foods, not the corner store.
I love Aldi, but their produce rots after like 2 days.
It kind of does. You got to eat that stuff right away.
Yeah.
Right. It's the stuff they bought at Whole Foods.
You're absolutely right, because I did look into, they blew through the season ticket holder list as well. And there's a reason, is because they haven't put together a competitive team since that core that won the World Series. And it's just been a slow ride, kind of down and now sideways. And I had it in the notes. We don't have time to really talk about it, but even the 20 game plans, I'll put up real quick, like, there's some decent games in here. There's Fridays, there's Saturdays, there's Sundays, you got some weekend things. You got some contenders that you're up against. You see the Dodgers, you got some games against St. Louis and the White Sox, but here in this 20 game plan, but the average ticket, this is in the upper freaking deck. It's one of these seats that are shaded green here on the top. One of these seats for your 20 game plan, average of $100 a ticket.
That's crazy.
No.
That's my favorite section, by the way, but $100 a ticket is crazy.
Yeah. And you're averaging that. And that is just unacceptable, and they call it a discount. Yeah, or this isn't the discount thing. They give you 15% off an overpriced hot dog, but you get the cheapest.
So basically,
price.
the taxes. You don't have to pay the taxes on that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
so
that's the stuff that frustrates, because we all love the Wrigley Field experience. I'll give the Ricketts credit for what they did building around. At first I was against it, but then I'm like, no, look, Gallagher Way is a great thing, and there's a lot of stuff there that's cool. But I almost wonder if Jed, seeing what happened at the end of the last run, the paycheck, the wall essentially closing after the off seasons of 2018, 2019, 2020, where he's like, I don't want to get stuck in that position again. So instead of going for that A market, because look, Shohei Ohtani at $500, $600 million, there's a good chance the last 4 years of that deal, you're like, fuck, but it's worth it for everything up front. And someone's going to blow that money. It might as well be you. And he, like IFG, you said a million times over, I'm sure. He generates so much revenue. You're going to get the entire country of Japan subscribing to Marquee Network. It's
I mean, it's like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm in Seattle, right? Okay, so I'm in Seattle. I go to a lot of games at T-Mobile Park, and the entire time I have been here in this city, I've walked around and went, honestly, in a lot of ways, I really feel bad for Mariners fans, because you walk around, Mariners fans, they have 5 jerseys and it's all retired players. They don't trust the team to keep a good player around long enough to invest in their jersey. I don't want to be like that. I don't think the Chicago Cubs should be like that.
I agree. Yeah, totally. You're right.
I am so tired of 1-year deals for people who are on their way out of the sport. Like, we deserve better than that. We pay enough money to have actual players who are star players, who people are proud to wear their names on their back and their colors.
Or even do it like the Braves. I don't know how they convinced everybody. They picked all these guys. They got them all to sign long-term contracts. It was rumored that the Cubs tried that with a couple of our core guys, but that never came to fruition. The numbers, but there's he said, she said about all that crap. But they didn't do it. They were able to keep nobody. Not that we would want them now anyway, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say.
We believe that they were going to be here forever. We had 4 players in the top 10 of jersey sales like 3 years in a row.
Yeah. I think the Braves
we have
were
0 right now. 0.
They signed Yeah, you're right. We did. We had nothing in the top 20. Nothing in the top
Yep.
20, which is used to be 4 of the top 10. Nothing in the top 20 now. We
you
had
would think Dansby would be a guy that people would buy.
He's
I don't know if
Dansby
I saw a
Swanson's a
single.
phenomenal defensive player, but he also is a 240 hitting shortstop with some pop. It's nice, but that's not someone I'm
The
spending
hair is
$200
pretty,
on
but
a
it's not
jersey.
$330 Nike Authentic pretty.
It's not. So, and I love the guy, and he had an awesome year and all that. But as far as like the superstar thing and everything like that, it is if you want to run a team like the Brewers, charge us Brewers prices then. Okay. I want Brewers
100%.
ticket prices if you're going to do it that way and everything. But yeah, it was. And as far as the long-term deals the Braves did, they were smart enough. They got Acuna and Albies to sign extensions like during spring training before they made their major league debuts. So they took a big gamble there. Like the White Sox did that with Eloy Jimenez. They signed him to a good size extension before he ever had his first major league at bat, and that's backfired. But where the Braves did it, it worked out for them. And then they got some other guys like to sign extensions that were like, really, they probably could have held out for more. I don't know how they were able to do it. With the Cubs, I didn't hear any rumors that they tried to extend any of these guys before they made it to the show. They got Rizzo early. We forget that. The Rizzo extension was a great signing, and they were smart to do that, and they got him on the cheap, which is why when they offered him an extension that was a pay cut, people forget this. Rizzo's last season with the Cubs, he was making $16 million. The extension was for $14 million. That's a pay cut. I'm sorry. And I understand him being like, fuck that. You got to at least offer what I'm making this year. And if they would have done that, they probably would have signed him.
If they would have done that, they wouldn't be trying to sign Rhys Hoskins right now.
We
Sure.
would
And then also things work out differently. The Cubs won the World Series. So like those guys were all in their second, third, fourth year, and they won the World Series. Some fans might not want to hear this, but every professional athlete has two dreams: win a World Series, get paid. So once they won the World Series, you're not going to get that discount anymore. So you kind of missed your chance.
And then
What else do you have to do to earn it? You broke 100 fucking year curse and you can't get paid for that?
And maybe if they were all extended in 2017, 2018, they would have played better. I feel like a lot of times
it's hanging over their head.
Yeah, I think it was a cloud hanging over their head, especially that last year. They're kind of thinking, what the fuck? We won the World Series for a team that hasn't won in 108 years, and they're finagling over every little fucking cent. I think that's going to fuck. Think about it. Everyone here, you've worked a job where you're not appreciated. You don't work as hard, right? And I feel like that kind of was what happened. That 2018, 2019 Cubs team, although 18, they were good. They won 95 games, but they weren't fun. And 2019 wasn't very fun until Castellanos. He kind of injected some new life into him for a stretch. And 2020 was a pandemic, but there was something that was missing. And I think it kind of was
2019 when Castellanos knew that he wasn't coming back. That was heartbreaking.
It was.
Yeah. Well, that 2018, you brought up the 2018. They won how many games? 95 games that year?
In 2018,
And the management said something was broke. And it's like, wait, we just won 95 games. It's not really our fault that another team won 96.
And they had 41 games in 42 days to end the season. They were burnt out, and they put up a good fight. People act. I get mad when people say 2018 was an all-time choke job. They were 16 and 12 in the month of September. 16 and 12, which is a 96 win pace, which is one game better than they actually did. They had the second or third best record in the National League. And yeah, it was just a bad timing in a lot of ways, right?
They got beat, but Brewers were ridiculous. They came out of nowhere and they managed, and that was the manager that we now have. So hopefully that bullshit won't happen to us anymore because we got the guy on the other end.
Yeah, you can't do anything about what the other team is doing when you're not playing them. And the Brewers, while they were not playing the Cubs, were just fucking running on it. And they had a great year. But at the end of the year, like you're saying, you don't want to play for people who are kind of giving you shit all the time or not wanting to talk to you about extensions and stuff. And to have them come out and say, they could have thought it and said it behind closed doors a million times if they'd like. But to have them come out and say, the offense is broke, everything's broke, like, fuck you, dude. Like,
yeah, I feel like Theo wouldn't have said that if he thought he could sign players. And I think he was shocked that the wall had closed. But I want to hear some carols. Do you guys, I know this guy.
We got some carols to listen to. We're already
you want to stick around to hear some bad singing? I got some.
Yeah, Michael's got two songs full of bad singing. We don't have to listen to the whole thing if it really becomes untenable. But we'll give it
podcast, by the way.
Untenable.
So, but we do need to take a quick break for one of our sponsors, In the Clutch. In the Clutch is a T-shirt company. I am wearing one of the In the Clutch shirts right now. Check this out. This makes a great Christmas gift. Fly the W under the tree. You know, got the angel on the bottom in this one. So
I wore my Shohei Ohtani In the Clutch T-shirt to trivia last night, and I won first place.
See, it's good. It's good luck.
Oh, and I don't know who my Elfster Secret Santa is. Obviously, it's a secret. But how about that?
The Morel shirt from In the Clutch, yeah. And
That's
if
pretty basic Morel shirt, but man, there's something about it I really like. And so if you happen to be my Secret Santa, go out there to In the Clutch.
And you get 10% off with code SunRanto, and we get like $4, $3 or $4 out of your purchase.
Hey, get me one of those
Please
Show Me
do that.
fans shirts.
Yeah, buy us shirts and then also give us money from buying your shirts. So no, but really help. In the Clutch is an awesome company. They've got a lot of great stuff that's not even baseball related. So just go check out their site and also check out this commercial for them. I just shared a link in the chat. In the Clutch is your t-shirt company of awesomeness.
If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Seiya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his W. Cody Bellinger, smoking deuce. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch.
Welcome back. I want to thank everybody who shopped through our Amazon link at sunranto.com/stuff. That's where you just, fill your Amazon cart, click on our link, and then check out like normal. And we get a little bit of money out of Jeff Bezos's giant yacht project and into the Sunranto Show's project. And this month, we're going to give away the Sunranto Stuff Prize of the month. You get to win if your item that you purchased corresponds to the winning number. You can win this cute little thermos of this little Cubs man. So
somebody in the chat said earlier that is a life-size Madrigal thermos.
Exactly. So there are a total of 49 items that were purchased. And I think my favorite of them all is, if you see the bottom number 30 here, I don't know if you can read it. It's very small. Light My Fire Spork. Somebody bought camping sporks. Look at these things. Look at these sporks. So on one end, for the podcast listeners, is a spoon. And on the other end is a spork. And is a fork. And the way I remembered it going was that a spork was a combination spoon fork where it was both a failed spoon and a failed fork, because it was like a spoon that couldn't hold soup because it had fork.
Yeah, it was like, didn't KFC invent these things? That's where I remember seeing them for the first time. Did they
really?
I don't know. That's where I saw them for the first time. But yeah, it was a spoon, but it had little tiny points on it.
Anyway, I don't know who bought this, but I'm rooting for you. That's who I want to win. So at whoever bought number 30, the spork, and I'm going to share the link to this too in the chat if you want to get your own sporks. They're like $8. One end a fork, one end a spoon. That makes a lot more sense. And then the spoon becomes a handle to make it a fork. It's amazing. Why didn't I think of this? I'd be a millionaire. Be wasting my time.
Danny is way too impressed with this shit right now.
That's not. Listen, I thought a spork was one thing, and now it's another thing. My definition of spork has now completely changed.
I have one problem with this. If you
Yeah.
eat something with the spoon and then you need to go eat something with the fork, do you not have like food greasy mouth stuff all over the spoon end of the thing that you're trying to eat with the fork? And ew.
That is true. And then especially like if
you
then
saw
wanna
that
go
it came
back.
with 2 of them.
Yeah, you have to. Well, now you might as well just have a fork and a spoon. Just bring one of each.
Hey, look, you're camping. You don't know what you're getting. You don't know if it's going to be a soup day or it's going to be a foraging for mushrooms day. You're prepared with one utensil.
Corey Furlong says it's like a 69 spoon.
Nice.
Nice.
So, all right. Well, I will share my screen here, and we can pick a winner for the 1 through 49. This is for the sunranto.com /stuff shopper on Amazon. Good luck to you. Here we go, and it's number 12. And we'll put this back up here and see.
That is John Baker's number when he played for the Cubs.
Whoever bought the energetic LED floodlight light bulbs, you are the winner.
Wait, why are they energetic?
Well, we're going to find out. Write to me.
What else are they doing?
I don't know. But maybe that's the brand. But you've just won this cute little life-size Nick Madrigal. And also, I keep forgetting to mention, #chance in the chat. You can get a message of love and doom sent to you by me and a Frank Chance postcard. So let's listen to some carols. I'm surprised you wanted to stick around for this. I mean, you already have stomach problems. And, now you're going to subject yourself to this, Joe.
And Joe, so fair game.
All right.
Nobody, everybody's got tough skin around here. And if not,
singing them live, or are these pre-recorded?
These are pre-recorded. Maybe IFG will sing one of hers live because she wrote with amazing handwriting. What penmanship on this woman?
But nobody else we can see.
Yeah. Well, no, because you didn't record them, right? You just
I have not recorded any of my Cubsmas carols.
So we got a couple weeks left if you want to. Or you can sing one live, but we'll start with a 12 days of Sugus, 12 days of Christmas, because he's got 3 in already. So this is just a war of attrition at this point.
Prolific songster are Bill Sugus.
So here we go. Here's Bill with the 12 days of Sugus.
The only real 12 days of Cubsmas I want to see this season. On the 12th day of Cubsmas, Judd Hoyer gave to me Shohei Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani, Hey Ohtani, Shohei 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 Ohtani, and Shohei Ohtani. I think that was 12 of them.
Is that a Shohei Ohtani baseball card?
It's a Shohei Ohtani baseball card. I've been up. It's next to Zobrist World Series bobblehead. I'm trying to manifest something.
Yeah, I believe it.
Look what I got.
Yeah. Oh, you got the new one.
I got the most valuable pupper, and it's a parallel. I have the worst luck drawing baseball cards. I have been collecting baseball cards for 30 years. I never get the special cards, and I got a special card. I'm very proud of it. Look how pretty.
That's a good one.
It's a blue parallel.
I'm jealous.
The pupper.
Hey. While I did love Sugus' song, I can't say I'm marking him down for creativity. He didn't come up with a single other day. Come on.
But he did get what he wanted every day of Christmas.
I liked it.
And how come we always notice that Jurgo is in his car hiding from his wife, but literally every Bill Sugas has a song chair in his house.
Yeah.
And every time he does this, he's sitting in his
Song
lazy
chair.
boy recliner and he sings. And my guess is that if the camera's not on, he's still just sitting in that chair singing.
So we got another entry here. Let's take one here from Mike Waller. He did a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer parody. So let's bring this one on.
You know Rizzo and Lester and Bryant and Dexter, Miggy and Zobrist and Javi and Schwarber. But do you know who could be the big Cub hero next year? Shohei, the two-way lefty, has a very mighty bat. And if you ever saw him, you would know that he throws gas. All the Chicago fans mock, Jed, and doubt he'll come. They never dreamed of Shohei playing in any Wrigley games. Then if one dreary windy day Passan came to say, Shohei with his star so bright is going to be a Cub tonight, then how the fans will love him as they shout out with glee, Shohei the two-way lefty, you'll hit bombs out of Wrigley.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, and talk about manifesting stuff. The more songs we play with Ohtani, just putting it out there into the world. Although I'm going to need Mike to do a Miles Mastrobuoni song for us too. Like maybe Dominic the Donkey. Dim hee-haw, hee-haw. It's Miles Mastrobuoni. Something like that. It's not a very popular song.
I did like how he was like, you all know, and I thought the song was maybe going to go a little bit different way, because he's like, you all know these names, and it was all the 2016 Cubs, right? And then I'm like, oh, is this going to be a song about how we don't know any of the new Cubs names?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know instead of All right. Well, speaking of songs I don't know, I don't really know this song that you chose to do, Michael. Donde está Santa Claus? But that's like a sleeper one. What's the history of this tune? Do you know?
In 1954, 12-year-old Augie Rios had a hit. This is my Casey Kissing voice. 1954, 12-year-old Augie Rios hit the airwaves with Donde Está Santa Claus, and it became a major hit for the youngster. I don't know that he did anything else ever, but I believe Guster redid it in like 97.
Did you know that Guster? Did you know that? Fuck Guster.
It just stops you dead in the middle of that sentence.
No, did you know that Peggy Lee was 13 when she sang "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree"?
I actually just learned that, and that's amazing.
Surprising.
I was today years old. That's amazing.
I didn't know that either, but sounds like a child.
She sounds like she smokes a pack and a half a day.
Really? I don't know. I always thought it sounded like a kid to me.
Rocking around the
Christmas tree.
You know why I think it sounds
little
like a
rasp.
kid? Because I associate that song with Home Alone, the scene where
Absolutely.
he puts, the Michael Jordan on the record player, and then he fakes that there's a party going on. So he's a kid, and it makes me think kid when I hear that song.
I associate that with the first scene of Lethal Weapon, where the scantily clad woman jumps off of the balcony. So
I remember that scene, but I gotta check that out.
Well, that's way different.
You can, if you want to watch the first 3 minutes of Lethal Weapon, I believe that's when. And
well, here's
honestly,
more.
If you watch it and that's not the song, let me know, because that's the song in my head.
Well, here's Michael Cotton with more of the song in his head.
Grandpa Rossi, donde está Chris Morel? Donde está Chris Morel? Why not play him at third base? Grandpa Rossi, oh, where is Chris Morel? I never know where he will get to play. This Canario should be a play. instead of sitting on the bench. All the renters are a saying these lineups have a shitty stench. I hope he won't forget how to crack those long home runs. Please let the youngsters play. Throw Jordan, Moramaya, call Mervis, Star Javi, Ole, 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 Chris Morel, Grandpa Rossi, Donde está Chris Morel? Oh, where is Chris Morel? It's 120. Oh, where is Canario? It's 120. All right, Grandpa Rossi, you're fired now.
Very nice.
This is spectacular.
You're like kind of like the Nick Madrigal of song parody writers, because you're getting better year after year. Just give you a chance to get out there, and you get a little better every year.
I have to say, I think that's some of my finest singing. I don't think it was overall a better effort than the Run DMC song I did last year, but it is a fun song. It's probably the most fun song I've done, and I would go out and find that song. Donde está Santa Claus? It's a fun song. I've listened to it a lot this year.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna check it out. And then Joe, I realized we never played your clip from your show.
Oh, it's okay.
But we should though. We'll take it out. We'll do it at the end now.
Yeah.
But we also have another one. Let's see what we have here. Oh, well, we got another Bill one, but I'll play this one first. It's Corey Furlong. And this is also a 12 Days of Christmas.
On the 12th day of Cubsmas, the ranters gave to me 12 throwing airs, 11 smileys frowning, 10 terrible toupees, 9 swing and misses, 8 melted plaques, 7 years of Dansby, 6 blocked ranchers, 5 prospect perverts, 4 terrible trades, 3 fried Rossies, 2 conjoined wheelos, and a message of love and doom from Danny.
Oh my God,
really
the
beautiful.
conjoined wheelos fucking kills me.
2 conjoined wheelos. That was hilarious. That guy photobombing that picture of us at Miller Park. He literally looked like one of the drummers from Spinal Tap, like the 4th one that died.
I want to say thank you, Corey. It's rare that somebody comes in below me on the singing, but I'm gonna give you that this year. I'm gonna toot my own horn. I'm better than Corey Furlong.
Joe, are you gonna give us a song this year? What do you got in the tank?
I've got nothing, man. I can't sing at all. If I could sing, I wouldn't do stand-up. I'd be a singer.
That obviously doesn't matter in this contest.
I know that's true. When we were texting earlier, I missed that part of the text. I saw something like, come on at this time. Like, when you're reading it, when you're kind of driving, you got 2 hands on the wheels, guys.
Yeah.
Be safe. And then I later saw, like, do you want to judge them? And I'm like, I'll judge them. What are we doing?
You could be
a song. So I wish I had something for you guys. I really do.
I think you could be a judge. Last year we had Wheelo as a judge, and we had Billy as a judge. So we took it, and so I think you could be the 3rd judge. Weren't you a judge too, IFG, last year?
I believe I was.
I forget how it works. And then
he wasn't actually a host yet.
We just
I was a guest.
Yeah, because we come to the conclusion of who should win, usually with like the group chat. They're chiming in, and it just becomes obvious at some point who everybody wants.
It's always a plant.
But really, the best part of last year's was when Wheelo trashed Crawley's Carol, and I think that we might get a revenge clapback track this year. And I think I think we might get a hate track from Crawley back to Wheelo, which then there's no way he's going to win the prize. But I should say what the prize is. We have, it's all the way over there, but it's this really cool. It's the Cardinals versus Cubs London series poster, plus a Sean Dunston signed to the Ranters photograph. And I have a bad news for everybody, though. I kind of scraped up the autograph. It was sitting here, and something fell off from above, and there's an abrasion now on the autograph, but it's a love tap. It's a little love tap.
Oh my God, Danny.
So now it's an error autograph, and it's even more rare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
there you go.
one thing is, it was at least
or we downgraded it from mint to very good.
I could say it was damaged by this, though. So at least it was
That's
damaged
cool.
by a Cubs, and now this is broken as well a little bit because of
My
the
goodness.
fall.
Danny, is that a Cubs totem pole?
Yeah, it is.
I've been in that room a million times. Is that new? Because I've never seen that you had a totem pole.
No, it's not that new. My friend Alan gave it to me for, I think, something, my birthday, maybe. I don't know. So, all right, we've got a couple more of these to go. Let's see what is next. Oh, we got another one from Cotton. Cotton, you want me to play the other one?
That's it. It's up to you. I feel like Danny's like doesn't know if
Well, it's 2 minutes long. I was thinking, why don't we put yours as the closing song? I think that's what we're gonna. Here, I'll give you a sneak preview. There, that's all you get.
it is
got
a
piano.
non-traditional Christmas song, to say the least.
Is it Alleluia by Leonard Cohen?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's not a Christmas song.
No, but people listen to that dumb shit at Christmas because it's this Hallelujah and they have no idea what it's about.
Well, it reminds me of 9/11 for some reason.
I don't think my singing is gonna take that out of your mind.
So
Yeah, never
I think
forget.
thousands of people.
It's just more terrorism. Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're basically the Osama bin Laden of singing.
Ear terrorism.
Yeah, the twin towers of my ears.
Good Lord. All right. So after liberation.
Oh, you can't bring that shit up on Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah,
You're
true.
supposed to remember other bad stuff.
Hey, I was there that day, so
Pearl
but
Harbor,
here's
what was that
Speaking
like?
of bad stuff.
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, yeah.
Speaking of bad stuff, if you do want me to sing live on air,
Let's
you
hear
get
it.
two choices. You can either have Silver Bells or My 12 Days of Christmas.
Silver
I'd like
Bells.
to, yeah, Silver Bells. That's a nice song.
Shorter.
What is it?
We only do the 12th day. I'd better go
I
along
like
with
how
everybody else.
Joe's like, whatever it is, just short, please.
Yeah.
Fine.
Because my stomach's starting to make noise again.
Oh, bless. If you need to run, please. I fully understand and would not take it personally.
Are you going live?
That's my only option. I don't
Yeah.
have it.
Wow, let's do it.
Okay.
I got to put you in the hot seat.
This is the
Are
first
you
time
gonna
I've
put the bitch
This is the
block
first
on?
time I have sung in public live since the last time I had a Long Island iced tea. So
So like
Time.
yesterday.
okay. Home run bells.
Home run.
Home run bells. Dreaming of baseball at Wrigley. Wish for spring. See them swing. Soon it will be opening day. Icy bleachers, outfield brickwork, gleam a bright red and green as the Cubs enjoy time with their families. Winter meeting, trading season, it's Jed Hoyer's big scene. If the budget's there, soon we will hear home run bells.
Home run bells.
Home run bells.
Home run bells.
Dreaming of baseball at Wrigley. Wish for spring. See them swing. Soon it will be opening day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Fuck
you.
this. How come I'm the only person on this goddamn podcast that can't sing?
I'm probably, I could compete with you, I bet. But what I liked about your song was that it wasn't player specific. It was the season. It was really about what we're feeling as fans dreaming of Wrigley, like the season, where I feel like the other Christmas songs, very good, but we're all about like, Shohei, please come here. Or, it was all in that vein.
Yes,
Where
I've got 4 of those too.
I'm sure you do, but that song, that Home Run Bells is evergreen. You could play that every off season, where some of these other ones are specific to this off season.
Yeah, there's a few that have made it through. We're doing the Cubs caroling on the 16th, and there's a few that I'm just leaving the set list, like Have a Harry Carey Christmas for Holly Jolly
sure.
Christmas. Everybody loves it. I'm like, well, we're going to use that one every year. Some will just stick around, ones like that. So it's good to have timeless classics like Home Run Bells.
It's really important for people to never want to go back and listen to the songs that I sing.
Well, we have to, get people to, leave the show somehow, So here's the last one that we have, and it's another Bill one. We start and end with Bill, as it should be. And here's this one's a little dirty. So if you got kids in the room, which you shouldn't, anyway.
Oh yes, this is very dirty.
This one's called Blowing Nez.
And it's a
Forgive me, 8-pound, 6-ounce newborn infant Jesus. This Cubs caroling entry is not safe for work. I saw Hoyer blowing Nez Balelo at the winter meeting south of here, with a suitcase full of cash and something in his ass. I really doubt that's eggnog falling down upon his chin. Then I saw Nesbalelo's ecstasy written on his face with such a grin. We'll surely get Shohei. Ricketts will likely say that Hoyer blowing Nez mean Cubs will win. Forgive me, Lord.
Massive points for Nez Balelo out of
You know what? Incredible. You know what? Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I didn't have the idea.
Oh, Bill had it in him. That was amazing.
Look up who the
yeah.
Balelo, what the fuck?
How about that? Yeah, apparently it wasn't getting a lot of play on Facebook. I was like, yeah, you're totally banned on Facebook. Like, you're not allowed to say that. He put it on Discord. That's the reason that you joined Discord too. Like we can do what we want over there.
Oh, my Leonard Cohen song, I tried to put on TikTok. I tried to load that up so that Danny could see it. And basically they just muted it. So it was just nothing but photos. And I was like, this is the dumbest choice ever. Just fucking not let me put this up.
Yeah, they always work out the streaming stuff. But if you make your own, you have a couple weeks left. I think we have, 1, 2, 3 shows before the contest is over. Thank you to everybody that sends them in. I love them. It's like my favorite time of year. And just have a good time with it. Bernie Barron, I'm still expecting one from her. She's does one every year. That's always very funny, but keep them coming because they're freaking great. I also want to thank, I forgot to bring this up earlier in the show. He sent this to me earlier, but Jose Orlando, speaking of Christmas, he went to Santa Claus in Puerto Rico, where he lives, to ask for Shohei Ohtani, and he said that Santa was a Yankees fan, and he's like, yeah, whatever, because they knew they weren't getting him because Shohei doesn't want to go to New York. So
something makes me feel really, I don't know, something dirty about thinking about Santa being a Yankees fan.
That makes sense.
Anybody else
it makes sense. They get everything they want, or more than most teams.
Exactly. Of course, Santa's their
rings.
Oh, I guess I hadn't thought about it like that.
That's why it was the funny gag in Bruce Almighty. Morgan Freeman plays God, and he's wearing a Yankees hat. It's like, of course,
yeah, of course, yeah. So, Joe, I do want to play this bit. Do you want to set up this bit that you sent me?
Yeah.
Hold on. Because it took me a minute to find the picture. I spoke to Santa personally, and he said he was going to do his best to get Shohei to the Chicago Cubs.
Nice.
There was no promise. But he
Manifest
said
it.
he would do his best just for me because I'm his favorite.
You know what? I think this is a thing. We've got to, let's keep it going. Anybody, all the ranters, get out there, get your pictures of you asking Santa to bring Ohtani to the Cubs, and we will show them on the show. We'll post them out on Discord. Like, I think these are great. I think it'd be very fun for the calendar next year in December. It's just all people with Santa.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So go ahead, set this clip up, will you?
I'm trying to think of. Oh, I remember. So this joke, it's like it's maybe what I give you, a minute long clip. So it's like 1 minute of like a 4-minute joke, and it's about it stems from a true story. I was going to this bar. It's Galway Bay Pub in Chicago. My friend owns it, and I'd been going there for like 10 years, but recently I've discovered them being aged out. Like I'm like getting too old for it. And I had an encounter with this woman at a bar because she was on her phone for 20 minutes. And when she got off the phone, I'm like, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but how could you hear anything? And she said, because I'm not 100. And then that's the rest. You'll find out the rest. Yeah, she hurt me.
Check this out.
She looks me up and down and goes, because I'm not 100? Yeah, some 22, 23-year-old. She called me 100 years old. There's no cool comeback for that. I can't be like, you're fucking 100. I'm not 100. You're 100. Like, it doesn't work. But then I wasn't going to take this line down. She starts to walk away a little bit. I'm like, oh, hold on a second there. What are you, like 22, 23? She's like, yeah, I'm 23. I'm like, okay, you're 23. I'm 37. So again, if you're 23, your mom's probably about 50, 52. I'm going to fuck your mom, okay? I'm going to fuck your mom, break up your parents' marriage, have fun celebrating 2 Christmases forever, all because you were a piece of shit to a stranger. All right? That's on you now. And yeah, I'm married, but my wife's not going to care because it's about teaching lessons and we're teaching family. All right? We're an education first household. So.
That's great.
Thank you. That is,
to say,
I love
100.
that your wife is going to be good for it because it's lessons.
Yeah.
I have to say, for 100 years old, you have a spectacular hairline.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the funny thing is I'm 39 now, and when that joke was 7, but so I couldn't say 38. I kept messing up and saying 37 because that's how long I've been, I was doing the joke for a whole year. It's 37. Anyway, I thought that just now as I was like, I'm not 37 in that video. I'm 38, you lying bastard.
You're going to forget because of that joke how old you are, because you get to that age where you'll tell somebody.
How old are you? You'll be like, well, in that joke, I say that I'm 37, so I must be.
Yeah, it'll make me, it helps. It helps to be younger. It'll help Hollywood, right? It helps the industry. They think you're younger than you are.
Well, I just shared the link again in the chat. Punchup.live, I should say, is the address. And you look up Joe Kilgallen there and sign up for everything.
I'm actually going to go try and watch that after the show.
Yeah, and you don't have to watch it all in one go. I've got a couple friends who are like, hey, when I get, because it's 50 minutes long, I think 51 minutes. And they said, I'll try to give it a watch when I got an hour to myself. I'm like, you can watch it 10 minutes at a time. It's not like, I tell people you don't have to sit down all at once if you don't have the time. I understand, it's hard to get an hour to yourself these days. Also, I don't know if you noticed, I give San Ranto podcast a shout out in the special thanks section.
I did see that. And
she made you guys watch till the end to find out if I say anything about it.
Yeah, I was very touched, and I was very touched about all the pictures of your dad too at the end, you and your father and stuff. And yeah, that's I just hope it's a big success and it kind of like launches you a little bit further. I know it's a process, and it's a tough road to hoe. It's being a stand-up, being a musician. So anything you can do to support Joe, you got also a Patreon, which we subscribe to. I do anyway. So
thank you. Yeah.
And you've got a regular podcast on there that you put out to everybody. And, I
do bonus episodes. And then I throw out like sneak peeks. Like if the people who are on my Patreon, they got to see the special before anyone else and all that kind of stuff. And they were mentioned in the special thanks section and everything. Discord watch party with the artist. Yeah, we can do that sometime.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You can
So,
listen.
yeah, so just spread the word, tell people about it, all that kind of stuff. That really helps. I'm going to be out for Cubs spring training doing shows down at this comedy club called Mic Drop Mania, which is 15 minutes from Sloan Park, March 22nd, March 23rd. So I would love any Cubs fans who are going to be there that week for spring training, which should be a good amount because I think that's when a lot of Chicago area schools have their spring break or the start of their spring break. So it'd be cool to meet a lot of the ranters out in the world.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, based on this show alone, and you just saying that I can watch it just like a little bit at a time, I'm gonna be taking shits and watching Joe. It'll be just like reliving tonight, sitting on the toilet watching Joe.
Not gonna lie,
on the potty.
I just bought a bidet, and I've always wanted to try one out, but I bought one finally, and it's changed my life. And let me just say, it's great. They're freaking awesome. And
I got one for Christmas last year. They're great.
Yeah,
I got one. Game changer.
Yeah.
I don't have one anymore, but I used to work for somebody who had one of those like $25,000 magic Japanese toilets. And if you ever have the opportunity, take it. It's delightful.
I hit one of those up in a sushi bar once.
Sounds nice.
I didn't really have to go, but I did anyway.
Somebody asked me if I'm going to be on the Discord right after the show tonight. I wish I could, but my wife texted me during the show saying I have to go to Jewel and pick up a couple things for the kids' lunches, and I'm going to go back to the bathroom.
Yeah,
so
do the bathroom, then the Jewel, because I can't think of anything worse than shitting your pants at Jewel.
A Jewel bathroom's not pretty for some reason.
You got to go in the back by the pallets and stuff like that. Yeah, remember going
the pants at Jewel? He won't be the only one.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope it all comes out well for you, Joe.
So
thank you so much. Thank you, all of you guys. You guys are so great. I really appreciate you all.
Yeah, and you're playing in Arlington Heights tomorrow. You got a bunch of shows. JoeKilgallen.com, I assume, is where you find out where everything's going on.
Actually, the same website. If you go to punchup.live/Joe-Kilgallen, all the tour dates are right there with the direct ticket links. My website's under construction for a minute, but then once I get that going, I think I'm just going to redirect people right back to the special. So hopefully that plays, it makes it easy for everybody. But yeah, I've got a bunch of shows in the city. The next out of town shows I'm doing is Peoria for New Year's Eve, the Jukebox in Peoria, Illinois. But I'm going to be in Arlington Heights tomorrow, Glenview Saturday, and then the Laugh Factory, Schaumburg. I'm going to be at the Schaumburg Improv December 15th through 17th. So people in Schaumburg area, come on out.
And unfortunately, it's the 15th through 17th, so you won't be at the Cubs caroling, which is what we'll all be doing. And I'm going to share the link for that in the chat. A bunch of people signed up. I know a lot of people are coming in. I'm getting a lot of DMs. Hey, when's Cubs caroling? When's it going on? December 16th is the day. We're meeting at 5 p.m. over at Output Lounge, and we'll have all the songs and stuff ready for you. It doesn't cost anything, but your dignity really is all it charges. They charge. I want to wish a happy birthday to John Pickus. I see him in the chat here saying it will be the best joke, Joe, when you are 78 and say, well, at least I saw the Cubs World Series win.
Good call, John.
So
unfortunately, it might be the last one.
Yeah, I believe his birthday's Monday. I'm gonna say.
I hope I make it to 78. That'd be great.
Yeah, 78 wouldn't be bad. Although, you know what, I'll be 50 next year.
Oh hell yeah, we gotta do something big.
Oh yeah, we will. But but when you think of 50 to 78, you know, that doesn't seem all that long. Or it's like my dad died when he was 66, and I was like, oh my God, it's only 16 freaking years away. Oh my God, it's scary when you're talking about the getting aged out of a bar. Wait till you start getting aged out of life.
Yeah.
That happens sooner than you think. So anyway, yeah, happy birthday to John. He says, thanks, Daddy. Well,
I got 37 for even longer then. Thank you. You just inspired me to stay 37.
Yeah, you should just keep lying in that joke. Just stay 37 until you're 50.
Wouldn't it be funny if every special I do a joke where I reference my age, but it's not the right age? Like in the next one, I'm 36, and then I just keep going backwards.
Yeah, like
up on it.
Exactly.
Like, man, that guy's a rough 25.
I am a horrible 25, that's for sure. A great 100 though. Damn.
Yeah. Chicago's full of a lot of rough 25s. I've noticed. It's a rough 25 town.
It's January and February to blame.
Yeah.
a Chicago 25 could really be like a 1940s 25.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
pretty much.
were talking about that last week about how like young people in the past looked so much older before. Like a teenager looked
Smoking bars.
40. So I'm going to share another link in the chat. This is for the Dorothy Farrell event. And if you didn't hear, she died. And but Stuart McVicker and Club 400 is throwing a big event, and it is. I'm going to look up the information here.
I know it's January 6th from 1 to 5 p.m. at La Villa on Pulaski Road, which is La Villa is just south. It's in between Irving Park and Addison, right off the Kennedy Expressway, walking distance from the Blue Line. Great pizza place. It's very well known on the northwest side of Chicago as being one of the best pizza places in the entire city, really.
Yeah, and John Vincent's going to sing. John Benedict's going to play. I'm going to do something, probably get everybody singing along. And it's going to be from 1 to 5 on Saturday, January 6th. Unlimited pizza, pasta, salad, soft drinks, tea, and coffee. And yeah, so it's $40, I think. And there's a link at club400cubs.com on the event links there. So, Jeff, if you'd like to come pay your tribute to a famous Cub fan who'd had an awesome life, that's where to do it. La Villa on January 6th. Okay, we got some. Oh, we didn't talk about the Malort thing, but if we can give that short shrift real quick.
I'm gonna bounce.
You got to go.
Care if I leave? Do you guys care if I leave?
Get the hell out of here.
I love you guys.
I see your face there, and I'm just like,
You're like he's clenching his butt cheeks.
Let him
Like,
go. Say goodbye, Cotton.
Bye, Joe.
Thank you so much, Joe. It has been great talking to you.
Listen to his. The last thing he did was knock everything off his wall.
The worst part is he's like, I just gotta leave that shit laying there because I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gonna sit there broken.
You cannot fix that. You have other things to do.
So just real quick about the Malort thing. Malort has been infused at Nisei Lounge for a few years now by Val Capone. And she's been doing it there's the Sport Pepper Malort. There's famously the Candy Cane Malort, which isn't half bad. You've had a little.
Cane comes back every year.
Yeah, and it's delicious. Well, then Malort put out their own Candy Cane Malort and charged like a ridiculous amount for it, like a special kind of bottle, and didn't give Nisei any credit at all.
And it's not like they don't know that Nisei has been doing this because they've credited them for doing it, or like it's been widely known that this has been going on for a very long time.
And
They've
then
been Chicago Press for it, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and they go back to 2018 where they show that they retweeted Aaron Kiefner, Candy Cane Infused Malort. Anyone? Hashtag holiday hell at Nisei Lounge. So Aaron gives him credit. Malort doesn't. And then Malort finally came out and apologized, but in a non-apology apology where they still did not. And I'll read this. It says, Arson, sorry. I'm going to read it how I think they meant it. Sorry, period. Our sincere apologies to all the bartenders, bars, and other good folks who are OG originators of infused Malort. It's not other bars and it's freaking only Nisei Lounge.
Yeah, they just fucking all lives mattered that thing.
They did. In our rush to do good, we missed acknowledging those who came before us in the quest to make Malort worse. So they even have it wrong. Malort tastes better with the candy cane. It does. Our seasonal flavored Malort series has been a charitable fundraiser since day one. With every penny of profit earmarked, blah, blah, blah. Raised $45,000. Yeah, I mean, that's all great and everything. But
Nisei was already making candy cane Malort for charity. Nisei does charity events all the time. And if there's anybody listening to this that like isn't in the Chicago area, has never had a Chicago handshake, you don't know what Malort tastes like, it's like licorice soaked in gasoline, but in a good way.
Right.
Yeah. And now it's kind of made its rounds of, something that you can, like an Instagrammable moment, like when I fed Tatsuya that shot of Malort and, it got a bunch of views because he could not keep it in his body. So,
and once you got him hammered on Malort, you explain Japanese history to him.
yeah. Oh man, I was almost canceled this week for saying stuff about Japan. I got to stop.
The other great thing about Nisei that they've been doing for years is, and it's one of the only things that I would look at Twitter for again, is Nisei Labs. They like to do all sorts of like weird experiments with the things with Malort or whatever. I remember a few years ago there was one of those Arctic domes that came over Chicago, and they just put different alcohols out on their back porch so that they could see what would happen.
Yeah. Nisei Labs.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Nisei Labs reminds me of the Muppet Labs, and I think it should absolutely be just a thing.
Corey Furlong brings up $150 for their shitty liquor infused with peppermint. And $150. That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Malort's $25 a bottle.
He says Carl Jepsen is dead to me. I'm afraid he's dead to all of us.
And just so you know, at Nisei, they have a big jar of Malort infused with baseballs that I tried to get some of, and they saved me for myself because apparently that would kill me. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but they told me I might actually die if I drank it, and I still wanted it. and they said no.
Taste. I just want to know what baseball.
And so they said no, I couldn't have the Malort with the baseballs in it, and I guess that was a good thing.
Buzzkills.
Been a hell of a story if I'd have just fucking keeled over right there at Nisei, drinking the baseball Malort.
Well, maybe we'll do it because that's where we usually end Cubs caroling, is at Nisei, and Ranter shots soon at Nisei, Joey says, and indeed, and we will do some of the OG infused Malort with actual candy canes, not that $150 bottle swill.
Full of fucking droppers of candy cane flavoring.
So I've got some TFCs. I actually have too many. So this is what I got.
I have one.
Okay,
no,
so
I have two.
This one's quick. This is from, I put a Fuck the Cardinals carol out there on TikTok. So this is our first, I believe, TikTok TFC. And Adam Gabor, in response to my Fuck the Cardinals song, said, "Glad Santo lost his legs." So thought that would escalated quickly, but I did say Fuck the Cardinals.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So that's disturbing. It's been a disturbing show. I'm in a dark mode.
It really is.
It's a dark Christmas.
Okay, let's see. I've got, I got to find, I guess maybe, I only have one because there were so many things in our, in here, I couldn't fit the other one. So.
All right. Well, I'll go again. I'll erase some things. And
hold on.
but
you keep deleting things, and every time I try and click on my thing,
it goes away. Yeah,
we're doing the fucking the door lock thing again. All right, this has to do with the Yamamoto. How much money Yamamoto wants in signing him? Pat says, if the price exceeding a range of workability for the Cubs in terms of future space, it makes sense. This guy hasn't thrown a single big league pitch yet. Let's pump the brakes on giving him a deal that would make him one of, if not the highest paid pitcher in all of baseball. And Bobble came back with the exact right response. Exactly. The Cubs need to retain their financial flexibility in case Jesus returns and turns out to have a sick curveball. Until then, there's no reason to risk spending money on free agents. and that is exactly how it feels.
Just
Everyone's
a reminder
for Jesus's fucking curveball.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us. Yeah, it amazes me also the people with the Otani being like, well, I don't want him to, be hamstringing our organization for years to come. I'm like, or you could just have like the best player that ever lived on your team. Like, I don't know, that sounds pretty good too. Like
you remember what the Red Sox did?
yeah.
86
Literally,
years.
once upon a time, not signing that guy to a 1,000,000-year contract meant that your organization was cursed for a century and a half. Why?
Yeah.
How the hell did we get to actually good baseball players are bad to have on your team for realsies?
I'll tell you, I can pinpoint it. It's the rise of fantasy. Fantasy players, they're
ruins everything.
armchair GMs instead of like, I just want to win baseball games and have fun. These guys are like, well, I want to make smart financial decisions. And I'm like,
no, it's not my money. Spend all of it.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
have this
I have
one.
one more when you're done.
Okay, this one's for you, Michael. It's
Ooh.
Tony Andracki, good old Tony over at Marquee Network. They have a podcast apparently now. Everybody's muscling in on our business. He says Boog Sciambi on the latest Cubs Weekly podcast. Topics include what Cub fans need to know about Craig Counsell, his epic shoe collection, and I'll stop.
I've not heard enough about the shoes.
Well, that's what somebody said. William Rofer says, "Oh God, no! I'm already tired of Boog talking about shoes. I want baseball content."
I love this.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Throw the Boog one up there again. And you keep going. It's like the Cubs off season. That's another thing to talk about. And then also Boog Sciambi's favorite moments from 3 years as a Cubs play-by-play broadcaster, which is fucked up because he just goes right back into talking about his shoes. He's like, it's just 3 games in which he had an awesome rant about his shoes.
Yeah. I hate that picture of him too.
Oh God.
Yeah, down the bottom, he's just pointing like, so cheesy.
What is up with the pointing? Because you couldn't see me. So right back here, right here, I have this fucking stupid ass Boog Sciambi JD bobblehead that I got at a game, not because they fucking gave it to me, but because when we were leaving, that shit was still, somebody just left that shit on the ground.
Yeah.
At Wrigley Field, and my family picked that shit up for me, and it's an embarrassment to everybody involved.
I'm a big collector of things I hate.
He's pointing in that bobblehead too.
Thing.
Is it a thing? Is it his thing?
It's his pointy thing. Yeah.
Jesus,
he's a pointy guy. So, all right,
he's from my group chat.
I didn't think I could dislike Boog.
Pull it out.
Yeah, it's a sort of a commentary on all the writers who refuse to let Shohei Ohtani have a little bit of privacy in all of, as he makes the largest financial decision of his life. I honestly, I take more time deciding what to buy on Amazon than he's going to have to make this decision. So, maybe give him a minute. I don't know. But
it's like me watching Netflix.
My friend says, if the media wanted to cover an unemployed Asian, they should contact me instead of complaining about Ohtani. And then another friend goes, get in line. Anyway, somebody should hire my friends. They're really smart.
I wish I had a job for him. I wish I had a job for everybody. I wish I had money to hire people. I have so much things I'd like to have done.
It would be wonderful. Yeah. Here. So since we're talking about Ohtani, this is a TFC that I call Ohtani math. Whatever this dude's name is, I don't understand that language. Maybe. To be honest, I don't think Ohtani is an option, and I'm fine with it. It's a team game, and of all the teams that have paid $1 jillion for a single player, how many have won the World Series? I'd rather get 20 top tier players for $25 million apiece than one player for $500 million. So apparently, somebody doesn't understand how the fuck baseball contracts work because they're not giving Ohtani 500 million 1 year. Like you're not. So
Yeah.
basically, what he wants to do is sign
25 million players.
$25 million players every year. He's going to sign a $25 million player.
I'm fine with it. $500 million payroll.
years.
I'm at year in, year out. Let's do it.
Or for the next 10 years. My bad.
What's 20 times 25? 400. It's like 500 million, right?
It's 500 million. Yeah. The math
so
was correct.
He wants 21 year contracts in a row for a top player. When like 20 years from now, $25 million is going to be like league minimum.
Yeah. Well, and when he says top tier player for 25 million. Okay, wait. So if you're getting a top tier player for 25 million, but it's the same as Ohtani's 500 million, that means that top tier player is $2.5 million a year for the next 10 years. And I don't think you're getting a top tier player for that.
No.
So I got one more, and this one comes from the Cubs and our friend Crawley. First of all, I get this text from Crawley, and he says, "Hey, got some free tickets for Winterland at Wrigley Friday night." And I'm like, "Sweet." And he's like, "Free." And I'm like, "Nice." And then I go on Twitter and I see, "Get into the holiday spirit this Thursday and Friday with free admission. Enter gift 23 to redeem this offer." I'm like, "The fuck, dude? Everybody got it free." He's like, "Hey, I'm Mr. Free Ticket Man." I'm like, "Everybody's Mr. Free Ticket Man, you asshole." I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh man, that's awesome. He's gonna go, and there's gonna be like 8 million people because they all got free tickets. And he's gonna be like, "This fucking sucks. I can't do anything. There's too many people here."
Well, I walked by the other day, and something they're roasting. I think it's the nuts. It smelled like pee. I mean, it really just. They have to do. I don't know. I would complain if I was like in the booth next to it, and I'm like, these people, like, they got their recipe sucks. They have maybe it's peanuts. Like, I don't know. It literally smells like pee.
Oh, there you go.
But it didn't seem like there was a lot of people in there. But you know, it's a busy time of year, and it's only the 7th. You know, I think it's something people are going to be more off, like between the holidays. Maybe the weather holds up. So anyway, we got to give away a chance postcard so this is your last chance. This show is long. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went. I mean, it's Danny. You have to understand these shows are going to be long when the winter meetings just got over. I mean, how are we not supposed to talk about everything that happened at the winter meetings?
Oh my God, I can't find the stupid. Hold on. I didn't realize that I had a whole bunch of other things open. So hold on. All right, but I know this show could get any worse. All right. Hashtag chance in the chat. This is your last chance. And apparently, because that wasn't going, I accidentally clicked out of what I had open. So I ruined it, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. I've wrecked chance. So if you haven't gotten in, hashtag chance now. If you have already gotten in, get in again. Corey Furlock says, "Oh, this show suck."
Fucking Danny actually remembers to do the chance on this very long show. And then he fucks it all up.
And then I fucked it up by closing the stupid. Yeah, I freaking closed the window that was open. So anyway, here we go. One of these people are going to win and be entered to win the big prize. It's coming up. And the winner is Toad. Toad ND.
Hey, Toad.
I don't think Toad's won before. So congratulations, Toad.
At this point, Danny, everyone has won before because
at this point of the show, yeah.
I mean, yeah, we've been doing this chance for the chat. It's amazing how sought after these cards are, because they are sought after. People go for this shit every damn time they want this.
Everybody wants to win something, even if the prize sucks.
Well, unless it's a magical bobblehead.
Yeah, then it just gets left where you want it.
The one prize we couldn't give away.
So maybe a couple of us will go over to the Discord a little bit after this is over. I know it's probably late. It's getting late for everybody. So anyway, well, I'm gonna say Spagog, and then we're gonna play Michael Cotton's other song. Corey says we are all losers here. Speak for yourself. I'm a winner. So everybody have a great week. Happy birthday, John Pincus. We'll see you at Cubs Caroling. We'll see you at Club 400 this weekend. Some of you. We're going to sing the carols there, too.
Yeah.
Great job, everybody, on the carols. Keep them coming. And Spagog.
Spagog!
Spagog! I've heard there were some secret words that David said to displease the Jed, that he doesn't really care for youngsters, does he? Same four guys pitch after the fifth, half bats third, no matter the sitch. Baffled ranters still cheering hallelujah. Now we booyah, bleachers booyah. Now we booyah, Ross we boo you. Support was strong, but there wasn't proof. Hiring David wasn't a goof. Craig Counsell late in the night overthrew ya. You had the youngsters, but you didn't care. Cubs lost at home and went nowhere. From the bleachers we boo hallelujah. Now we booyah, ranters booyah. Now we booyah, Ross we boo you.